All right. Almoria, very close to five. Yes, let's get that up before next week, people. Come on. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Give it a couple seconds for everyone to join in. Enjoy reading the monster itinerary. And we will play the theme in just a minute. Yeah, I said it was huge. You people just didn't listen. Yeah, Chad, if you wouldn't mind. I'm not going to talk about everything in depth, but I am going to touch on everything. So we'll enjoy. All right. This is as good as I want it to get. Chad, pin that. Kills. If you want to go ahead and throw the theme on, I am recording now. So there we go. It's here. It's time. The show you've all been waiting for. The show that is going to bring in a number of fantastic people. SRD, that would be here. I will bring you on. Let me know if you've got to go at any point, and I'll drag you on, or whenever you want to come on and talk, I'll bring you on. I was going to cover a couple of topics beforehand, maybe. But yes, so for anyone that missed the itinerary, Chad, I think you pinned it. So where is it? It's going to take, it actually took my computer a second to load that. Okay, could somebody retype that for SRD and let him know that whenever he wants to come on, he just needs to let me know. For those of you watching the recording, you can see over here is the itinerary. So we will not necessarily be going off that in chronological order, but my panel, who is, let's go look and see who is here listening that is part of the panel. CCT, yes, he's here. Awesome. CCT, and I'm not going to pronounce his first name, but Vas is also here. Is Spanky here? Did he make it? No. So my current group of members that are going to help me co-host, hop on whenever. Darkblade, who is, I don't think he's here right now. CCT, who has been a huge help with recordings, absolutely over the moon. Spanky, who I will drag on for his hot takes whenever. And then Velyni Vas. So these, for those of you that missed the pre-show explanation, these are just going to be people who stick around. They're people that tune in intermittently. As you can see, 2 of them aren't here tonight. 2 of them are. They're just people I can drag on for their opinions or to talk about something or to cover dead air. Kills Bob does much of the same thing with Falmore on his show. And that's about it. That's all there is for the show itself. Now, getting to our lower level news. The Coven, they did a thing. So 2 things actually, but I wrote it as one thing, and so one thing it shall be. First thing was, a couple places reported on it. They began attacking nano alliances. Woo, big deal. It's military training from what has been publicly said. But no, I am not pronouncing it your way, Zig. The other thing was Sanctuary got dropped by the Galactic Empire, and I believe that's their name. And so the Coven signed a treaty with them, picked them up. Woo! Big news. The way, yes. So these fine folks at the way have well, they had their war chest data leaked just like everyone else has been for the last I don't know how many weeks. So I don't know, is it still a bug or is it just people leaking it from within? SRD, if you are listening, I hope you are. Let me see if I can probably check actually. Let's see here. Oh no, I can't because it's not a voice channel. Oh, good, you are. Whenever, so if you end up like having to go, or if you want to come on, just let me know. I have a couple of things I'm gonna get through first, and then I saved the later people for whenever. So if you want to come on now, I will happily jump to your bit of the itinerary. Just confirm that really quickly and I'll pull you on. So what is it, folks? Is it people leaking the data, or is it was an API bug? Oh, well, this is why you don't trust tech. The Hive is a buzz because they got looted by Piggy. So this was one that I think a lot of people were making fun of them over because they all got they only had like 2.4 billion in total in their offshore. So everyone was making, oh, see, Darkblade's here. I told you, these are just people, my co-hosts will pop in whenever. So they were just making fun of them mainly because there wasn't much there, particularly for an alliance that's roughly top 50 as Hive has been for a while now. So that was interesting, but nothing major. Aurora, I'm just touching on this briefly because I mentioned it last show, but we've had a couple of developments basically saying that Aurora is filled with sus. They're all very sussy. They all need to be tormented and killed for their misdeeds. The long shot of it is that, well, let's go actually read the Ron article. Ideas to glitch the market, with Toxic being okay about poaching from allies and saying they're bot spies on servers it's in. Toxic has claimed the logs are edited. Mindsome claims the leak is true, but Toxic's messages are edited. And Jack has claimed that both are true. So a lot of he said, she said BS, which we all know how that goes. Long shot of it is Aurora's up to no good as usual. It's accurate. Rainbow says it's accurate. So basically, Aurora is very, very evil. They're all terrible people, and if you treaty them, you are also evil. I think that's the summary of what we've gotten. No, it is not a Queen Death rally, although she is here. Now, getting into the first interview, unless SRD needs or wants to hop on beforehand. The Odyssey. Well, actually, I take that back. We're not going to get to that because he's about 20 minutes late. The Odyssey has sunk in more ways than one, my friends. First off, their leader deleted $1.7 billion worth of infrastructure for the war. Stat padding, which I found ridiculous, but okay. I never understood deleting infra. If you're going to stat pad that hard, like, why play the game? But Okay, whatever. Not my business. They got cut by Carthago. But what's the point of having if they're not going to be accurate, then why have them look good? That's why we need statistics on how much deleted infrastructure has been made. Make that the new statistic. Have Alex do that, where it tracks deleted infrastructure. I guarantee you people will be less willing to delete infrastructure if they realize people are going to look at it and say, oh, there's the coward that's just blowing infra. CT owned is being coded to track deleted. Well, I hope that gets pushed soon, because my God, it is annoying as hell to have people just delete infra to deny the other side stats. Like, if you're that scared of losing your pixels that you have to blow them up yourself, just delete your nation. There's been a lot of salt from the Odyssey. Lot of salt. For those of you that don't understand how much salt we are talking, if you scroll up to September 3rd in Seethen Cope, and I am linking the message right here. There you all go. Thomas is really pretty angry. He's an angry fella. I mean, this is like personal. As in legit, like lunacy, we joke and roleplay basically as insane, but he is going like hardcore on calling Atlan insane. So that I don't get why he's that angry, but evidently he is. So somebody needs to reach out to him very nicely and tell him to screw off. Go VM for a while, calm down. And that's it for the minor news. So let me actually go ahead and pull up that itinerary again for myself to check. And I don't think there's anything major. Wizel, if you're willing to wait until after SRD, then I'll pull him up now. Because there's actually no major news. Go at the same time. Well, that's also a possibility. Wisel's up for it. I'll pull both of you on at the same time. Okay, well, SRD wants to come on, so he's going to get invited regardless. Wizel, is Wizel even listening? I don't see him. I'm searching through here. Okay. We're going to invite... There we go. You have been invited to speak, SRD. I hear a little bit. This is the live audience reaction, huh? Oh, he cut out. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? I am here. That was a terrible introduction for me, Lysander. I am extremely disappointed in you. Let's do this. What do we want to talk about today?
All right. Well, I'm glad you brought your own introduction. You don't need me. Let's see here.
I can't
So
hear.
first off, where can you not hear me? Can anyone in the audience hear me, or did SRD's trumpets blow out my speakers?
Okay.
I'm fine. Okay.
So what's up, buddy?
Yeah,
I have no idea who you are, but you want me to talk, and I am here to talk.
absolutely. So, I guess first things first that I would like to get to with you, if you don't mind talking about it, I know a lot of stuff is just OPSEC anymore. What caused the split in Hollywood, or the break between TKR and GGO?
But we did everything we wanted to do, so it's like, we basically won the game. So it's like, all right, let's try something else. We beat everyone worth beating. And it's like, cool, mission accomplished. Let's go do something else. Wizel's here. Let him in.
He's been invited. Now, looking at this war, and Wizel, I'll get to you in 1 second. What are your thoughts, SRD, on all of this discussion of secret treaties and that being part of the motivation potentially for this war?
What secret treaties?
Wana had said before the whole TS apology letter that he was fairly certain.
Mean, our opponent's paranoia? I can't speak to their paranoia, but if they want to be scared of us, I mean, they have every right to be, because we're the best group in the game, and I don't blame them.
Are you concerned about more wars coming out of this idea of theoretical secret treaties?
No, because we don't have any treaties except for the ones that we have. If you guys want to make up things and you're scared of us and make excuses for hitting us, feel free. I can't stop you. But if you think I'm going to have someone else come in and save us through a secret treaty, well, that's probably not going to happen.
Wizel, do you share the same opinions?
Pretty much. There's no secret treaty there, obviously. We haven't joined that war. And GGO's doing their own thing. Us, Name with LBK, are doing our own thing. So it's not my problem if other people think we have secret treaties. It's not there. So I think Wana did come out and say that he was wrong, and it said there was no secret treaty. So it is what
Yes,
it
that
is.
was, I mentioned pre apology letter, because that did go out. Wizel, to focus on your war, what would you guys call a win in the Hand of Fate TKR war?
Well, obviously we're not going to win the stats game because they came in with super low infra. But right now we're just sitting on them. So
I would compare their win
sitting on them and not letting them do HOF things is what we would consider a win.
I would consider a win like the Cardinals right now, who are like 26-8 in their last 30-something games.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good right now.
Yeah, they're tearing it up.
They're getting hot going into the playoffs. So
who's that? Is that Goldschmidt? He's your first baseman, right? He's kicking some ass.
Yeah, he's I think he's the front runner for the MVP. So
yeah, I think it should be my boy on first base over in the Mets, personally. But I guess you guys come up like Triple Crown numbers, and I can't really complain.
Yeah, he's like right there for the Triple Crown. So
yeah. How's your pitching looking?
Not bad. Our trade deadline acquisitions are working out for us. Montgomery and Quintana are both doing really good. So
nice. You guys have any good relievers? Out of all the teams currently competing for the playoffs, team I know nothing about.
We have some flamethrowers. Like we have Hicks, who regularly throws over 100. So, but the bullpen's not bad. It's been a little shaky at times, but they've got it done.
Nice. Who are you guys looking forward to playing in the first round?
I think it's gonna end up being the Padres. I think. So, and honestly, I don't care. I think they can beat anybody in the National League right now.
Oh shit! Look at that. You win a couple games, you get a little spicy.
Hey, they're hot right now.
Oh man, I tell you, they play the Mets. You guys are going down now.
I don't know about that. Don't know about that.
I tell you,
Are
Degrom
you
is.
watching the game now, Wizel?
I have it up on my screen now. I have it up on my screen, so I know what the score is. Yes.
Yeah, the Mets are fucking blowing it right now to the stupid freaking Miami. Bases loaded with one out, and freaking
They've been blowing it for like the last month. So
the last month they've been bad for like a week. They haven't lost 4 games in a row.
How far up on the Braves were they?
Dude, the Braves don't lose. The only team that beats the Braves is the Mets, and it's ridiculous.
You guys,
all the Braves
you guys
win.
were,
you
guys had
over
what,
again.
like a 6 or 7 game lead, right?
No, we had like 10.5 game lead.
Yeah, and now it's like none.
And we're still have like the second best record in baseball, and we're still and freaking Atlanta doesn't lose, so they're only like half a game behind us.
Second best record in baseball?
Yeah, I think the Dodgers are maybe the Astros, so they may have the third best record in baseball.
Yeah, it is still the third.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. Stupid freaking Braves. Can someone beat the Braves? And the Braves, man, they're a bunch of whiners too. They remind me of Eclipse.
You guys
Just
need
a
to win
second-rate
games, though.
team. Thinks they're better than they are. It's unbelievable.
For me, that's the Mets. Second-rate team thinks they're good.
Oh shit! All right, I'm peacing out, and we're going after you guys now. That's it.
Bring it. Bring it. Cardinals are ready.
In the interest of not completely derailing the topic, SRD, what was your opinion on the cake?
On the what? The cake?
The cake was part of the war declaration.
I'm still hoping they're going to send me that card. I told what's her face. I was like, hey, I'll give you my address. I will happily put that on my refrigerator, and I will keep it up there for like 3 years because I never take stuff once I put it up on my refrigerator down.
Any comment back on that, or is it just still, mail in progress?
Oh, she never contacted me, or he never contacted me. I don't know who the person is that did that. I don't know if it's boy or girl or not. I think it's a girl, but I don't know.
I get the feeling you genuinely just don't pay attention to who anyone else is.
Yeah, generally. I know like 10 people. And I know like 10 languages. And anything outside of that, I'm just like, who are you? I have no idea. Like I had someone message me today after the Slappy and Slappy B, they teamed up to form a new block. And they're like, hey, if you guys ever want to hit them, we'll be happy to help you. And I'm like, who are you? So that was exciting.
One last question for you on the war itself. Do you think it's possible to come back in damages in the stats game against Rose and Eclipse?
Oh, I don't care about stats. We're just here to do as much damage as we can. They took it the easy way out, teaming up. So our just goal is to just hurt them as much as we can. We're not rolling over like, some other alliances that we fight. So, we're here to fight, and we'll see what we can do.
Awesome. Wizel,
yes.
There's been a lot of, shall we call it, concern coming from not necessarily you, but other individuals in your alliance over the Hand of Fate war. A lot of it ended up in the Seethe and Cope channel. Any opinion on that? Do you think it's justified? Why is it?
I don't think it's
coming out
seeding, to be honest. But I mean, people are going to have their opinions, and they're entitled to their opinions. But
to quote Adrian, I'm not going to pronounce her name because I mispronounce everything. I'm as bad as Thalmor. One of the quotes is that no one deserves this, referring to Hand of Fate hitting Take Care. Do you have anything you could elaborate on that? I think it was kind of generalized.
What, as in directly after a rebuild?
Yeah.
Hand of Fate's going to do what Hand of Fate's going to do. All we can do is sit here and fight the battles that we have. So And that's pretty much all I have to say on it.
Alrighty. That about lines up just the war-related questions. I can just throw out at random for both of you. Do either of you know of or have any major FA plans coming up that you would care to hint at?
Huge things are coming, baby. Huge things are coming.
Like the Cardinals winning the World Series?
Oh shit! You mean Cardinals going out in 3 games in the first round?
Nah,
That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be great.
not gonna happen.
It's gonna be embarrassing. The mighty Cardinal franchise going down in flames.
They're not gonna lose 2 at home in that series.
And then you're gonna have Pujols still playing for them?
Yes.
Right? So okay, sorry. So the steroids he's taking right now probably gonna help you guys out.
Steroids he's taking right now. Okay.
Allow him to keep hitting those home runs. What is he like 57 right now?
42.
42, and he's hit like 10 home runs in the last week.
He's the same age as me.
Yeah, right. Team old guy. High five,
Yeah.
buddy. I pulled a muscle in my back last week. Oh man, I've been in DL. It's been killing me.
Oh,
I was like, oh, team old. This
I got home from work yesterday and my knee and my ankle hurt.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I've been milking it at work though. People are like, hey, can you do something for me? I'm like, dude, back. Guys, back hurts. I can't. Sorry, I just can't do it today.
Yeah, I can't do that this month. September's our busy month, so.
Nice. What do you do, Wizel? Is it Wizel? Is it Wizel? How do you pronounce your name?
Wizel.
Wizel.
Yeah. I work. You know Teterboro Airport.
No, what? Tito Barrow?
Teterboro Airport.
Oh yeah.
I work there.
Oh, nice.
So I deal with.
Oh, is it every month? Busy month for you? Wait, September's your busy month? Really?
Yeah, U.S. Open, Fashion Week, and United Nations General Assembly.
Oh, because it's a small airport, right? So you get all the private planes coming in?
Yeah, we get the private ones.
Nice.
Deal with all the 1%ers.
Yeah. That's great. So what do you do? Are you air traffic control? What are you doing?
No, like service the aircraft, like fuel them, stuff like that.
Ah, cool. That's fun. You get to inhale the fumes.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that that interview that from Top? Did you watch Top Gun? Did you see the new Top Gun movie?
I haven't seen the new one yet.
Well, they were giving an interview that the kid, the younger guy, he got sick in the middle of the filming, or actually a bunch of them supposedly got sick in the middle of filming, is because he was exposed to so much fumes. It was literally accumulating in his blood.
Ugh.
And then he's like, yeah, Tom, I can't do this right now. Or I need a time off to heal because of this, because I have jet fuel in my blood. And Tom Cruise looks at him. He's like, I've always had jet fuel in my blood.
And I've been doing this for 15 years. So.
Nice. So you also have jet fuel in your blood.
Yes.
I would like to see.
I do.
One last question for the both of you in the interest of not talking about baseball too much more. What are your opinions on the new Ouroboros, the Rose and Eclipse formal sphere?
Hilarious.
I think it's pretty funny too. I think it's pretty fun.
You know,
any concerns about future wars coming out of them, or any predictions?
If I were them, I'd be concerned about future wars. I wouldn't be
think they're going to get hit?
I wouldn't be surprised to see a new Nightfall show up and not be me and Wizel or Wizel, however the fuck he says his name. Wizel, thank you. If it wasn't us getting hit this time, and it was them by a bunch of people.
Awesome.
But you always got to appreciate when the 2 largest alliances in the game have to team up so that they can do anything. But then again, Eclipse has always been a second-rate alliance, so I don't blame them. One of these days, they're going to step up, and they're going to be in the spotlight, and they're going to take control. But from what I hear, most people that are allied to them don't really like them very much after they leave, which is weird. Kind of weird. I know I'm a giant dick, which is, I embrace. But most people say, when they work with me, they enjoy working with me. I don't hear the same stories coming from the boys over in Eclipse.
If you talk like this all the time when you're working with them, I can understand why.
Yeah, but I'm a goddamn delight.
What are
it was hilarious working with us, Hardy.
to lead into the next group? Actually, what are your guys' opinions on the other new sphere, Wayward, the Kata and Syndicate? Not merger, the sphere, their ties.
I'm just sad that now I can't talk shit to Kata about TS because now they're gonna tell each other. Because that was one of my favorite things to do is to be like, "Hey, Kata, did you see the stupid thing TS did today?" And we would laugh about it. And it was great. And now I can't do that anymore. Well, I guess I still have a channel with just Kata, our secret treaties channel. So we still can technically do it, but now we got to bring them together. So now it's going to be a little tougher. And I feel like they may rat us out. See, there you go. He doesn't want to talk about it.
Just make another channel.
Deca's like, no, stop talking about the truth. But all we do is talk shit about these guys. It's great.
Alrighty. Well, thank you too. If you want to hang on, I might.
Yeah, let's stick around for the rest of the show. We can help.
Awesome.
Plenty more baseball to talk about.
Yeah, you're right. Fucking the Mets are still losing bottom of the eighth. God damn it. Oh shit! They let up 2-1.
And Kev, are you two available? So if you are, you two are going to get popped on for Wayward. You.
So why do you have a channel called Penis? What's up with that? It's pretty aggressive, guys.
That is Chad's.
Hey, Lysander, can you also have Charlie talk for just a second? Traveler.
Charlie.
Oh, are we going to get the song? Yeah, play the song.
Where is... Oh, here he is.
Deca, say hello, man. I don't think I've ever heard you speak. Turn it up.
Deca's laugh sounds like Jared Leto. Oh.
Charlie Traveler's been invited to speak too.
Oh, hey guys! Thanks for having me. I've waited a while to say this, but introducing Kevinovia.
What about me? Thank you, Charlie.
Craig.
So, Wizel. See you later, Charlie. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
If Deca laughs today, I want you to listen. He sounds just like Jared Leto when he laughs. And if anyone can tell me different, I think you're a liar. So something I think really caught my ear. I know we're talking about, there's a lot of serious things that's happened in politics and war. And I think the thing that really caught my ear is how the hell are the Cleveland Guardians 70 and 65 this year, Wise on SRD?
Holy shit! Are they really? I don't follow the American League, but that is pretty impressive.
It is wild. I do not understand how that's and like Guardians. What kind of name is that? You know, and here they are. They're out here.
I know it sounds like a AAA team.
I know. Seriously, it really does.
I look at the score and I'm like, oh, the Guardians did something. I'm like, who the fuck are the Guardians?
They're in the suburbs. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's wild.
They should have just named themselves Cleveland Baseball Team. It would have been.
They really should have.
Yeah. That's like the Washington. What did the Washington, the football team? What did they rename themselves to? It was something stupid too, wasn't it?
The Commanders. That's not as bad. It's not as bad.
I don't like that either. Washington football team works.
Red Wings. Well,
now that baseball single-handedly killed off about 20% of the viewers.
3 people left. Calm down.
80% more.
Since SRD and Wizel have been talking about it, you've killed at least 10. Don't even.
Now you have 4 listeners left, so that's pretty
The ROI is about 9%. 9% loss.
This one is generally directed towards Deca because it was written as a question for Cataclysm. But Kev, I guess if you want to answer it too, you can.
I can.
Was this whole Wayward Sphere idea planned, or did all the cards just kind of line up for Cataclysm and all that?
Good question.
I'll take this one, guys. So me and Wana, we've been talking for probably a good 6 months now. And frankly, he's been pretty mad at me. I'm not going to lie. We hit him a couple times and he's like, guys, stop hitting me. And I'm like, well, we have to hit you. And he's like, no, stop hitting me. And I'm like, all right, fine. So we stopped hitting them. And now it's like, hey guys, why don't we team up? This would be great. So I said, I'm not in Cataclysm, but you in Cataclysm should team up and, do stuff. Do what? I'm not exactly sure, but we're going to do stuff and it's going to be glorious.
Borg,
You guys watch out.
Borg, you are so full of it. Almost as full of it as the Mets are of themselves. I don't see a way forward for them. I think they're going to lose out in the first round.
Dude, all you need is freaking.
Yeah,
the
they've
top
already
two
started the decline.
All you need is Scherzer and DeGrom.
He's hurt,
They're
isn't
going
he?
to pitch. They're going to pitch
Scherzer's
4
hurt,
games
isn't
in
he?
a 5-game series, and we're going to win.
Isn't Scherzer hurt?
I don't think so. He's been trying to get
Somebody's
his
hurt.
win.
One of the pitchers is hurt.
Well, what the fuck's his name? The younger guy, he's hurt, but he should.
Oh
be
you're thinking
So
of
Deca,
Thor. Thinking of Thor.
No, Thor
Longer-
plays for Philly now. Hilarious though.
What?
Thor actually dodged the Mets in 2 series so far this year. He was scheduled to pitch. He's like, yeah, my back hurts a little or my arm's a little sore, and he managed to dodge the Mets twice, which was hilarious.
Oh,
yeah,
Scherzer
this
is
show
on
might be
IL.
the reason Sleeping Ninja. Just might be the reason. Deca, would you care to follow up, or do you think SRD's explanation is on point?
It's more OPSEC than I would have hoped he would have revealed, but
Sorry, man.
it's pretty spot on.
Yeah,
So
domination.
it just kind of happened.
The best nation is domination.
You're
Yeah,
asking.
yeah.
You're asking the right person.
Yeah, it's honestly, I don't remember what he even said, to be honest, but it sounded very accurate. But if you want like a serious answer,
Basically, it came from day golfing and drinking.
I would
that's
absolutely
wrong.
love a serious answer. The general theme of the show so far is not leading that way, but sure, go for it if you got one.
I promise you that is exactly what happened. It was day drinking / day golfing led to the sphere.
yeah, that's
100%.
accurate.
100% honest. That's serious.
So, just generically, what did all y'all see in each other that led to the treaties? Drinking buddies, or was it a little more than that?
Have you ever looked into Juana's eyes? Those beautiful puddles
Of
green
Of
loveliness.
blue steel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's really what got us. To be honest, it was, everyone met at a Starbucks and just hey, what's up, dude? Like, I know you from work, basically. And then it just kind of one thing led to another. And,
That's right. End of the night, free handies for everybody. It was fantastic.
right. But really, then Lefty came in. And you know why his name is Lefty?
Yeah, you damn right.
It's just what SRD, it's what SRD said. Yeah, so, yeah, anyway.
Hey, we're former allies for a reason, my friends.
Yep. There's plenty of benefits that come with that tie.
Let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, yes, here's a great one. Kev or Deca. Any big moves like hitting SRD coming up in the next couple of months?
What?
Hitting them with a couple of insults, maybe, because who the hell likes the Mets? At the end of the day, I thought you had a better taste in baseball.
Listen, I can't help it if my father brainwashed me as a child to root for a whole bunch of garbage teams.
I will
his
say
job.
this. The Mets fans are the real fans in New York.
That is fair. That is true. Fucking Yankee fans can go suck a dick.
Yankees fans are straight bandwagon. If the team sucks, they hate them.
We can all come together on this. I think you guys want to sign a secret treaty between all three of our
They
blocks?
boo their own players for crying out loud.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Well, the Met fans, we also boo our own players because generally the Mets are terrible and they deserve to be booed. So this is why you got to enjoy it, like the 1 year every 20 years where the Mets are good. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, but they're starting to decline. It just took longer.
That's
Right.
all right.
Usually it's right around the break.
They still have like a
actually last.
99.9% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to
They
make
are
the
the Mets, so
playoffs,
they could
but
blow.
and if they don't do anything in the playoffs, was it really a successful season?
As a Mets fan, yeah.
Fair point. Fair point.
I'm excited. The Cubs are only 23 games back. I'm just saying.
Only.
I was going to say, usually by September 9th,
They They
My
were
season
still
ended a month and a half
mathematically
ago.
eliminated after the first game of the season.
But what you
Velyni,
guys
you
should
wanted
do,
an
so my
invite?
thought on this is you guys should hit us. You should hit us in like 2 weeks if you guys had some balls. You should just come in because I know Juana's pissed at us still.
Are you talking to Wayward?
SRD throwing the gauntlet.
And I was like, wow, if they really want to stick it to us, they could totally do it. They just hit us in like 2 weeks after our current war ends. You guys could stone cold bone us. And that's not the fun handy either.
Yeah. Don't start saying words like stone cold bone. Lefty's already in my DMs, like sending crude photos. So now he's all excited and hot and bothered. So thanks a lot, SRD.
Hey, no problem. You know you love it. And Lefty, keep up the good work, buddy.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Velyni?
How's it going?
There's only one way for this conversation to go forward. Velyni, take it away.
Yeah, so I got a few takes on the new spheres and everything. I felt like it was a good time for me to chime in.
Who are you?
He's the FA for Hand of Fate.
For who?
So
For
for nobody, just some micro, the Hive.
Who's that? Okay.
Yeah,
I recognize
exactly.
your name because I know I've talked to you before, but I don't remember who you are.
Yeah, Hand of Fate FA.
Oh, Hand of Fate. Oh, yeah, that's why I know who you are. Okay, yeah, sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, no worries. So Rose, let's start with them. First, I'm gonna actually applaud Rose for going offensive. I think that's a good sign to see, especially with Waste King taking over for Harry, and Harry's kind of known for being somebody who's pretty cautious and calculated. So seeing the FA turnover there and going offensive, I think kudos to them on that. I'm not really gonna trash talk that aspect of it.
Well, that's
but
what Rose does.
Yeah, exactly. And
They get their revenge wars in, and then they pull in overwhelming numbers, and they get their revenge war.
Yeah,
After
exactly.
They get beat in a fairly even war. They go
and
like,
then,
I can't have us lose.
And then to go dumpster diving though, like, I mean, what's up with
That's
Eclipse?
fair.
I mean, you could have picked somebody a lot better. I mean, Eclipse wanting to, go offensive just so that way they can sit around and have a reason to hug their pixels later. That's all this is. They want their numbers game. They're overwhelming GGO over here, and they'll just go around circle jerking each other for the next year, claiming how they're invincible. So pretty stat quo for them. But yeah, I'm with SRD on that. Expect them to get rolled soon. They definitely are kind of bringing that onto themselves. As far as Cataclysm and Syndicate over here, Wana posted in his leave that he was going to take some time to reevaluate his political moves. Obviously, his conclusion to that is let's go get people like Kev Kigaz, Lefty, and get all the FA help that he can, since Partisan jumped ship on him and he can't rely on him for any advice. So just anything top 5 FA, and have to go get 3 other FA people to run that sphere for him, since TS clearly can't keep up Blackwater. They can't do anything with Celestial, and now they got to take a back seat to other people.
Whoa. Hey, hold on.
Whoa.
Because
I don't necessarily think that.
So here's the thing.
just saying.
Wana, I think that takes a big man to admit his mistakes. And I think he's already 7 steps ahead of a lot of other major FA leaders by him admitting the mistakes with the apology thread, etc. So I feel like that's not a very fair take. I think being able to see where you're at and have a path forward and have a plan to go forward versus just, hey, we're big, who else is big? Let's sign number 1, number 2 alliance, let's sign whatever. I think Wana, I think there's a bright future for Syndicate. Just like they've had a lot of success in the past. I think they're going to have a lot of success going forward.
Well,
and they have really solid allies.
Let me say this a different way, Kev. If your FA path isn't working and you need to reevaluate, right? What do you got? You have a couple different things. So number 1 is try something you haven't done before. right? He and Kigaz obviously never, haven't seen eye to eye for God knows, how long. You turn the new leaf there. You befriend somebody who was an enemy. And then, like I mentioned, Partisan's gone, right? His FA's, like he said, just not working. We need to reevaluate things. So, like I mentioned, you go get you get, you bring Lefty on here, you bring, Kigaz on there, and now all of a sudden you have a lot more support for your goal. And less, if you, this may not be agreeable, but less pressure on Wana himself now that there are other FA-minded individuals surrounding him.
But it makes sense.
I can agree with that.
He inherited this shit show, though, too. Syndicate was not in a great spot when he took over either, right? And Wana was largely dormant, right? So he was basically in retirement when he took over. They asked him to come in because they didn't have anyone. So they just brought him in. So he had to relearn the landscape, all this shit, and he inherited a really shit situation. You know what I mean? And so,
100%.
like, at the end of the day, like, I think it takes a lot of guts to do what he did and how he did it to move forward. I think this block is really exciting, and I think there's a lot of cool possibilities going forward. However, I think the real news tonight is how the heck is Rose going to keep, like, it's incredible. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy over and over and over with Rose. Rose is who we thought they were, right? And Eclipse is who we thought they were. Like, it's incredible. And now it's a match made in heaven. I posted that. Like, it's a match made in heaven, and that's not a compliment. It's amazing that they decided to go forward with this. I'm not sure what their game plan is, but I'm looking forward to watching how this beautiful mess.
Hey, real quick.
Go forward.
Hey, Lefty, can you loosen the grip on Kev? Because the amount of ass he's sucking from Wana, you can tell that you're giving it to him pretty good at the same time to keep him moving. So can you let off a little bit?
I'm actually sort of getting jealous, boys. So, Kev, you do have to dial back about 10 notches here. Because, I thought we had the thing. Kind of get disappointed here.
Quiet.
But when it comes down to Wana, I thought Wana, like, I've never worked with TS, and I've never gotten along with TS. Ever. Like, period. I'm pretty sure I told him to sunk my dink quite a bit over the last couple of years. So I'm sort of looking forward to working with him. And I think Wana isn't as bad as people give him the grief over. I think it's just a series of unfortunate events that led to everything that went on. Being an FA is hard. I'm not good at FA. I don't understand why anybody ever think I was. Or
I'm terrible at
whatever.
it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
What? What's
Yeah,
hilarious?
No,
how
I'm
bad
terrible
you are
at
at
how bad I am at it. I mean, have you listened to this entire show? All I do is
Dude,
come on there and shit on people.
I'm sorry. I almost drove off the road. I started laughing so hard.
With the baseball shit?
Yes. Oh my God. I'm not even just that. When he cut in, it said, I'll tell you about how Kata and TS signed together. And I'm just like, holy shit, boys. Here we go.
I was hoping Velyni would come in and go straight to baseball. I was praying.
Yeah,
I was going to talk
not
about
a
the Blue
baseball
Jays,
guy.
but then I realized no one wants to talk about the Blue Jays.
Everyone wants to talk about the Blue Jays.
Right when you guys started talking about baseball, and I tuned out for just a second and came back in, like a minute and a half later, I could tell, like, 3/4, like, know your audience. I knew most of the people were tuning out at that point. And I'm like, oh God, I want in. So I messaged Lysander. I'm like, please bring me in. And I knew I was just going to go straight into baseball. Like, let me rescue this shit show. And then, anyway, yeah.
I will say what's interesting though, actually, to talk about PNW for once, that like when TS and Rose joined up, and then TS got really pissed at us when Hollywood hit them. It's like, dude, you guys realize the only reason we attacked you is because you teamed up. That's the only reason. We would have never even touched you guys again. You guys probably would have even seen a war unless you wanted to start one for like the next 6 to 8 months. But because you teamed up, you put a ginormous target on your head. I remember Lefty and you guys, we were in our channel talking to each other, and you guys were like, so when are we hitting these guys? And I was like, oh, I don't know, probably soon. Beats me. But, then you guys didn't do it with us because, we do things by ourselves, and that's more fun. But they don't learn. They did the exact same thing again. So it's like, what do you guys think is going to happen? Anyone who may have animosity against each other is now going to look and say, holy shit, that is a giant threat that the two largest alliances in the game just teamed up, pulled in some other bullshit alliances who I probably can't name if you paid me $100. And what do you think is going to happen to you guys? You think you're going to win a bunch of wars? No, people are going to put you down. And yeah, you're putting us down right now, and that's fine. I don't mind Rose hitting us because we deserved it. I think it's kind of bullshit. You did it a month after we fought you, whereas we gave you guys 6 months to build up and do whatever you wanted to do and try to prove to us that you guys actually were going to do something, which, yeah, proved that the only thing you were going to do was sit on your ass, which was disappointing, to be honest with you. But, it is what it is. And then, Eclipse, the bottom feeders, opportunists that they are, they jumped into. Good for them.
Let's be honest, Eclipse is trash. Everybody knows it.
Eclipse is so trash.
They are.
Oh, they're so bad.
So
I don't understand why they think they're so freaking good.
So you guys were allies with them, right? You guys were their last allies.
I have never regretted a signing before in my life until that.
Dude.
I apologized to Deca after that. When I left Cataclysm and I went off to do my little Thunder in Paradise here, I literally apologized to Deca. I'm sorry, man. Screwed the pooch on that one.
Where did Deca go? Deca, why'd you leave?
I don't know.
He didn't want to show people his Joker laugh.
That's fair.
It's beautiful though.
It is a thing of art.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
He's not a baseball fan like the rest of you.
I just want to thank you for having me on for a quick minute. Wife's trying to watch a show, so I'm not going to keep talking over a show and making her pause it. So
well have her talk. Have her talk. Have her give her input. What does
she doesn't follow politics.
Politics. What about baseball?
No, she doesn't do baseball either. She might be able to tell you Eclipse sucks, and that's about it.
That's worth it.
Wow.
All right, hold on.
Here we go.
Switch this output real quick. All right. Can you guys hear me?
Are we gonna
Good?
get it?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Can.
So
Okay. Go ahead. Say Eclipse sucks.
Eclipse sucks.
There you go. Hot take.
Awesome.
You better take care of that girl tonight, my friend.
There you go. Hot take for the night.
Bring over Lefty and go.
No, guys, come on.
She prefers righty, if you know what I mean. No.
Oh no!
Wow.
Hey, she can probably still hear you, man. Have a little respect for your wife. Jesus, what is wrong with you?
All right. Take care, guys. I'm going to listen.
Take care, buddy.
Chat.
All right, let's
Ronny D going to sour Ronny
Jesus
D.
Christ, let's get this under control.
You know what we didn't talk about? The newly approved rule changes for next year.
No, we're not going into this.
Oh, is that the
Darkblade, you wanted to come on, and Darkblade, what is it that you wanted to say? I know you wanted to hop on for a minute. You had your hand raised.
Wait, Darkblade's
If
the
you're
Guardian
still
guy,
here.
right? You're on my team, right?
He
Team-
is.
Yeah, I'm
He
your number
is.
one fan, Ronnie. I'm your number one fan.
You don't even know people on your own team?
All right, Dark, I'm going to be quiet. Say what you want to say, my man.
Rose sucks. Eclipse sucks. You're both pixel hugging alliances. You may win this war. Well, you may win this battle, but the war is not over. Watch out.
So I will say, full disclosure, I did reach out to everybody in that new sphere to see if any of them were able to come on and talk about it or try to defend themselves against
They're
the
not.
panel of
Rose is going to say
war.
something. We literally posted a like of them talking about wanting to roll us, and they didn't say a single word the entire time because they never talk. They're
I'm just saying,
not saying things to
it
say.
was I threw out the invite. I put it out there, so it's not my fault that they're not here to defend themselves.
SRD, you know what that is though? Like real talk. They're taking the Abbas approach, but they're botching it. They don't know what they're doing. So Abbas liked to make himself appear small when he was like controlling the Rose stuff, and then he would like have all these different, he would branch out like a tree into all these other spheres and have control of these other spheres indirectly. Right? That's how Abbas liked to do it. He'd like to stay quiet and small and whatever. But the problem is they took that formula, but they don't know what the hell they're doing. And that's why Rose has just been so terrible. So when Val stepped down and Abbas is gone and all this stuff, they don't know what they're doing. And they're really big. They don't have the government to support their large alliance. And, I mean, the best thing they can do is make a cake. That's really where it's at, I feel like. Like it's
That
and
cake did look delicious, though.
it did look really good. That was a good cake. That was a good cake.
Listen, they can have their cake and eat it too. I don't mind.
Nice. But yeah,
All right.
Eclipse.
Yeah, that wasn't my best. I apologize, guys. I can do better than that. I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's expected.
They all can't be gold, you know. They all can't. I try.
know.
I'm just going off the cliff or the. See, I look at that. I'm falling apart, guys. I'm falling apart. I see one loss GA and I'm falling apart. Oh God, it's way past my bedtime.
Thank you to you four for coming on and talking. Thanks to SRD for derailing the show about baseball for about half an hour. I really appreciate that one.
I apologize. My goal was to do
baseball,
it for the
though.
full hour. And
I figured.
I did the best I could.
figured. Thank you again to you four. I am going to move on to less relevant things, and such as mechanics, philosophy, and business, none of which are relevant to old people. So, thank you.
This is all old people like. We're not going anywhere. Let's keep talking about this stuff. Let's go.
You have the goal. You just got to ask the questions. Keep it going. You know, direct the traffic.
Holy shit, man! You can't let us railroad you like this.
Yeah, fuck, man. Get your little air traffic control now. Wizel, tell them how that works. Like you got your airplane like wand things. What do you call them, Wizel?
Yes, they're actually called wands.
Yeah, there you go. You got your wand.
That's what we do. That's what we use to give the signals for the planes.
There you go. Signal us, baby. Bring us home. Come on, Lysander.
What are we talking about first, Lysander? Let's do this. Lysander, are you still in Rose? Did you used to be in Rose?
I have never been in Rose. Don't associate me with that.
Were you in Pantheon?
No, I was part of TKR under Benfro.
Oh, so that's where I recognize you.
Oh.
No, you would never recognize me, but I was a member. I would
I
never go.
I'm like, I know he's from somewhere, but I couldn't remember where.
Where was it? Okay, is Atlin? He's not watching anymore, is he? We'll have to wait for him to come on and talk about the auto CBS. What else do we have here? Let's see.
Dude, you got four of the most outspoken people around.
Wait, we've literally been talking to you for 40 minutes and you don't have a question to ask? What have you been doing for the last 45 minutes?
Well, listening to you BS about baseball.
We prolonged
when are you guys
the show.
signing? When are you guys formally signing the secret
They were throwing
treaty?
you a curveball. Is really what was going on.
I like to look at more of a slider.
And you know who throws a really mean curveball?
No,
Adam Wainwright.
Let's see.
Adam Wainwright, fantastic curveball.
Just power through him, man. You can do it.
Here's a legitimate question for y'all. We have seen, I don't know how much complaining about GGO and prior to that Hollywood over tiering and all that jazz. If you look at the tiering chart I just threw in chat, or if you don't, just BS your way through it either way.
Oh, well, that's
Rose and Eclipse or Ouroboros, they now pretty much match GGO on a number of. They're essentially the equal of GGO on T30 plus. In numbers, not in quality.
How
they equal? They have 20 more city 30s than GGO. GGO only has 6 more city 40 through 44s. I don't know if you call that equal.
So here's the thing. Every time Test loses a war, they disband. And as a member of this community who cares about the health and the growth of this community, I can't in good conscience hit Test and beat them because then they'll disband.
Right.
When the going gets tough, Test goes away.
Yeah.
And honestly, we don't want that to happen. So that's why in the 3 years that they've been alive, or the 4 years, or the 2 years, however long they've been around, we've never hit them. Because I'm like, if we hit them, they're just going to disband, and that's no fun.
Right. Do you have a nonprofit we could donate to this cause? Because I think that's a worthwhile cause. I think that's very selfless. We appreciate you, SRD.
Yeah, it's called SRD Cares.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
I just want to remind you guys, I did win the $1 billion prize for the humanitarian of the year in PE.
You're welcome.
PNW, like, was that? Oh God, I'm choking over here. That's right, Lefty. Thank you, buddy. You were the best for that. I offered you a cut, but you didn't want it.
Yeah, what was
When
the Nobel
do you- so-
Prize?
SRD, I think it was. You're the one that said
I say a lot of things.
Ouroboros, they're gonna get slammed for being the new biggest sphere at some point.
Oh, definitely. It's a matter of time.
Do you think that will actually apply any pressure to them breaking up, or is it just gonna be whatever, and they'll keep around?
Oh, I can't speak for them. I mean, I'm still floored that they had the balls to even join up in the first place. I was like, yeah, there's no. We were joking about it when they both hit us. We're like, I bet you they're gonna team up. We are like, haha, that's hilarious. That'll never happen. They're not that stupid. And so I don't know how you expect me to predict that. I got no shot at telling you what they're gonna do.
Kev, you're one for wild theories. What do you think?
Here's the thing. What was your question?
Oh, that's fantastic.
There, man. They're not going to split up right now.
What I will say is this. I think it's freaking hilarious on even the Wayward, the Wayward thread. Did you not see how many people were bitching about, quote, how large they were from Eclipse and from these people? You know what I mean? Like they're talking about, like going from one large sphere to the next largest sphere. The numbers you just posted, Wayward's not even the top three blocks there. So, and then what's that? What's the city count there? 11,000 cities compared to Backroom. I mean, Backroom does have some powerhouses in there like Fark and Polaris and stuff, but I feel like there's a lot of reckoning that may come Rose Eclipse's way, is what it kind of sounds like. Because the only block that I could see working with them right now would be Midgard, and they're going to need, because if you look at the numbers right now, like obviously there's going to be blocks coming together to hit them because they have to. Like look at the numbers; it's not even close. They double everyone else. So, in my opinion, I'm guessing there's going to be a couple blocks that come together against Rose Eclipse. I'm not sure which blocks that will be, but clearly I feel like that's what's going to happen.
So minispheres has been a very abstract philosophy for a while, and we've had a lot of people say that's never going to happen, yada yada. Do you, and anyone can answer this, don't really care who, do you all think, I figured, do you think we're closer to that ideal now than we were, say, 3 months ago?
Define minisphere?
That's the problem right there. You can't define it.
So I will say that the game is much more interesting today than it was 3 months ago.
Literally going to say the same
thing. It was Hollywood and Rose
Celestial.
Sphere. And then you had Decagon and Eclipse, who were just picking on whoever they could because they openly admitted they were second class sphere because they didn't think they could compete with us, which falls in the range of what Eclipse believes in generally. And that was it. So it was basically us two looking at each other. And Rose was never going to make a move. So we were like, all right, well, it looks like we're going to have to do it, or we're just going to be sitting here for the next 2 years not doing shit. Yep. And then, I didn't really feel like watching Eclipse in, what the hell was your block name? Lefty?
Clock.
Oh, yeah, Clock. That's right. So we just didn't feel like watching Clock just pick on a bunch of shitty blocks for the next 6 months either. So it's like, all right, well, we'll fight our war. We'll win our war. We'll break up and then see what things shuffle. The advantage of doing that first is that at least we get to dictate the terms of the shuffle, and then everyone else has to scramble to put their shit together.
And now there's 7 blocks.
Yeah, and now there's a bunch of blocks again. So you guys are welcome.
Yeah, and on top of that, also, I'm surprised, Lysander, you didn't bring this up. Isn't there a bunch of turmoil in Backroom? What's going on there?
Who's
Backroom? Bring that up? Backroom? That's that really shitty block that Clock hit a little bit ago.
That doesn't tell me anything.
That could be anyone.
Anyways, gents, I'm going to take off.
Lefty,
keeps creeping through the window looking at me.
We're going to play AoE though, right?
Yeah, we'll jump on later.
Okay.
Oh, I can actually play with you guys now.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'll have to see if I can still. I have to see if I still have my computer now.
I'll shoot you an
so
invite,
much
dude.
baseball and to talk about how awesome you are. That's what we got to do tonight.
No,
that's all I like to do.
Oh,
It's my 2 favorite things.
Later, guys.
Baseball and yourself.
Kev, do you want to talk about the Backrooms turmoil?
No.
No. No, it's I didn't think so.
Wow, something Kev doesn't want to talk about.
Hey, Wizel,
What?
I don't appreciate that. Also, that's hilarious.
But you like to talk about everything, so you're turning it down. That's
I know.
unlike you.
What
I think.
were-
Okay,
I'm-
how
I'm
about this?
out of-
How about this, Wizel? Okay, just because you did this. All right. I think CTO is going to sign with TKR. How about that? That's my prediction.
Really?
That's my prediction. Yep.
Really?
That's my prediction. CTO to
Who's
TKR.
CTO? Is that
Your
Carthago?
predictions are usually
Carthago.
wrong, so
Carthago. My predictions are 100% accurate. 90% of the time.
your predictions are usually wrong.
Nah, they're mostly right.
No, they're usually wrong.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right.
Wizel, on a
Who-
scale of 1 to 10, how bad did you feel for screwing over TI when we broke up? Here you go. Here's some behind the scenes stuff, guys. We really kind of screwed them. I kind of feel bad about it.
They had improved a lot.
They did. We really
I-
carried them. I thought we made them look pretty good. A lot of people still don't respect them, which makes me feel bad. But I thought they did a great job.
They really did improve. So, they ended up with a decent sphere, I guess. Wouldn't call it the best, but because Hollywood was the best, obviously. But
Oh, of course.
nothing's going to be Hollywood. So
That's fair. Nothing did beat Hollywood.
Hollywood was trash.
Ever.
Actually, Hollywood lost a war. What are you talking about?
a dog pile.
Yeah, well, it still lost a war. You know who didn't
Yeah.
lose a war? Clock.
Yeah.
Clock was undefeated throughout their entire existence.
Hey, so
they-
why the hell
did they
did you
fight
guys
anyone?
never hit us? That's what I don't understand. You guys should have hit us like 5 times. Why did you never hit
I
us?
was
You
never.
really
I,
should have.
I haven't been in Clock since a long time ago. I don't know.
I was gonna say, one night I literally like plotted out like the whole reason why you guys should have hit us in your channel. I was like, you guys should be hitting us because of A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And like
Yeah, I
people
remember
were like
that.
messaging me like, what the fuck are you doing, SRD? Stop this. They are actually gonna hit us.
At the end of the day, Eclipse are pixel huggers. Is my thought on it.
Because I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, they're gonna fucking come after us. I know they are. And they never did. And I couldn't believe it. Unbelievable. All right, let's talk some rules, Lysander. What are we talking about here, buddy? What's up next?
So, just to reference USRD, actually, in the chat, if you see Keygaws, he said something was holding us back, and Deca said, ask the people that are afraid to lose pixels. So, whoever the pixel huggers in Clock were, they're why.
It literally just said Eclipse.
Well, that's the logical assumption. What were you guys thinking was going to happen aside from the Rose Eclipse signing? Because obviously, as you mentioned, that was like a extremely absurd line of thought. What was the general assumption that was going to happen between those two, or just in general? What did you think? Obviously, you've already said that you can't predict what they were going to do because they made this crazy move.
Really
But-
cool if they actually went out and created their own 2 spheres. It would have been cool. Because then we could have had, 9 spheres, 8 spheres? And it would have been cool. And then it would have been anyone's game. Because you could have been like, hey, who wants to hit who? Who can hit who? But now it's just like, all right, well, they're so much bigger than everyone else. So it's not really, it sucks. It's I won't say it sucks. It's disappointing.
Anyone have anything else to add for that? No? SRD speaks for the group. Let's see.
Best decision they ever made.
What else do we have here? Oh, here's a good one, actually. I'll pull this out from later in the itinerary. What is your guys' opinion on the whole, what I personally think is BS, the whole complaint about, oh, we need a villain? You've seen a lot of people call, we need essentially a bad guy.
The clips are the bad guys. I literally went to Rose's foreign affairs thing that we share with them, and I said, let me reply here. Congrats on being the bad guys, though. I've done it before. It is fun. I hope you guys embrace it. I posted that today at 8:19 p.m. That's what I think about that.
Fair. Wizel, anything to contribute? Is
I just
is
hope they
SRD
can be a decent bad guy, but like I have my doubts. Like again, I really think I think both of those alliances. I think Eclipse is very overrated, and I think Roses really went downhill. So I kind of wish that we had a better bad guy, personally. But
with Rose's credit, they try.
Yeah.
As much as I've
do
been
they?
sitting on
They
Rose,
try to be the bad guy.
No, they try when they fight. They try. They put the effort in. To their credit, they do. Like when we were taking the shit out of them the last war, like they put some effort in.
Like milling up, they're really good at milling up, or what?
Well, that's their problem is they keep forgetting to do that. But if they did that, they'd be so much better. But even still, even when they're in a war, they don't just roll over and give up. They actually do try, to their credit. So as much as I like to shit on people, I will extend that olive branch to Rose, because I remember back in the days when I was in VE and I was unfortunately allied to them back then, and we were about to go to war, and they were like, "Hey, 2 hours beforehand, hey, do you guys want to fight right now?" And we said, "What the fuck?" So we had a blitz of 2 people because they were like, "We're gonna go early." It's like, great, sweet, awesome. And I said, I will never be rallied to Rose again. And so far, I've kept my promise.
Mm-hmm.
But that was way back in the day. That was probably like 5 years ago.
That's not.
That was a very long time ago.
That's about as relevant as baseball is to this game right now.
That's correct. But they are definitely 100%. They've positioned themselves as the bad guys. Not only that, but I mean, I think it's pretty fucked up that they hit us so quickly after the last war. I'm not going to lie about that either. That's pretty fucked up. I also think it's kind of fucked up that HOF also hit TKR so quickly after the last war. I mean,
you're
you guys are
saying that
breaking up the
you
gaps back by doing stuff like that.
you're saying that you would never have considered such an idea, hitting essentially to screw over somebody else's rebuild.
Well, there's no precedence in it, though. It's never really happened.
So this is the thing. I'm a dick. Like I said before, I am a dick, but I believe in fair play. And the game is a game, and it should be fun. And doing stuff like that, you do that to legitimately hurt somebody. That's the goal when you do that. Like you are legitimately trying to take somebody out and do some legitimate damage to them. And if that's how you want to play, that's cool. I can play that game if I have to, but I would rather not. Like I don't mind fighting a war every couple months. And giving everybody a shot, and they have go in and just beat the shit out of each other and then call it a day and then do it again in another couple months. I'm perfectly okay with that. But if you try to come after us to do as quickly as we just were in a major war to try to put us down and do major damage to us, that's fucked up.
Now, SRD, correct me if I'm wrong. You've been around for a while. You're like 87 years old.
I don't remember a lot of things, but
right.
Yeah.
Well, so there's no real precedent, right? Like, so that's what made this such a move. It's because there hasn't really been a war like this where there's been that quick of a turnaround for an ROI hit. That's kind of been taboo in the past. So I think that's been the biggest news on this, and I think that's why SRD is saying what he's saying is because he's such an old son of a gun. Is that because it hasn't happened in the past? There's been so many years in and out where this isn't a thing. Where maybe some of you newer fellas and fellarinas are like, "Hey, whatever, it ruins their ROI. What's the big deal?" You know what? That's fine. I think just like you said, SRD, like if you want to play that way, like that's fine too. And then other people will also play that way.
Exactly.
But
you gotta look in Pandora's box. You better be prepared for it to come back on you.
Exactly. Play chess. See what moves are going to be happening a few moves ahead. 100%. No, Velyni, that wasn't a shot at you. Like, I don't mind it at all. I think different moves and this kind of shit. Personally, I like the different stuff. I think it's entertaining. There's more. I think more of that should happen. I'm excited. Personally, I'm excited actually for what Rose and Eclipse will do. Just like SRD was saying, like I hope they do play the bad guy. I hope they can create some narratives that are good. But seeing as they never talk or do anything and they're just full of hot air, I have my doubts. But we'll see.
I think it'd be awesome if they just start rolling through.
Hell yeah, dude!
That would
hell
be
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So
Just talking crap in the forums. Gotta be great.
Yeah, I mean, was it Vales? What the fuck's that guy's name? Veal.
Veal. It's like baby deer meat or something. Yeah.
Well, that guy likes to talk shit, and I'd love to see him just after they take us, they go hit like Withheld, and then after they go through Withheld, they go after Wayward, and then after that they hit like Midgard, and then they lose to the Johnsons because the Johnsons are a powerhouse.
Yeah, Johnsons wins every time.
That's right.
Johnson's strong. Johnsons are rising constantly.
I mean, they can't go any lower, so they have to go up, right?
No, they only go up. They're rock hard. They're up so far up. Yeah, it's true.
I would never touch the Johnsons. I'll tell you that much.
No, it's too
Not
scary.
even with Lefty.
Nope. He tried once. He broke his hand.
Legitimate question here for the actual status of the Johnsons. What would you guys recommend, or what are your thoughts on where that's going to go? Is it just going to be TFP's sanction of their sanctuary of nothingness? Are they eventually going to join up with somebody else to get somewhere?
You good if I take this one, SRD and Wizel?
Buddy, I have no opinion on the Johnsons.
Oh, I've got so many.
I think we have overlap of like one nation. So
All right. So as the former godfather of the Johnsons, the leader of the Johnsons, the birth giver of TF, whatever. Here's the thing. They need to keep doing what they're doing now. I think they're doing the right thing. Schwinn took over. Their previous leadership was horrid, real rough. Right? TFP. I mean, they had a lot of issues. Schwinn, dynamite dude, real smart cookie. I think if he can, put the blocks in place to build something up, awesome. If he can turn TFP into something that can build upon, great. The best play for the Johnsons right now is to continue doing what they're doing right now, which is not a whole lot. Focus internally, pick up the pieces. There's going to be a couple blocks that'll fall apart. Maybe gobble up a couple of alliances, sign a treaty here and there, improve upon what they had previously. Because if you look at what they had previously, it wasn't that much, right? So they're like free agents right now, and they can just keep trying to quote grow internally and improve. And I think that's probably their best play. I think they're playing it smart. Schwinn, I think, is a pretty solid leader depending on how much time he's going to have. I think TFP is in good hands with Schwinn, so I'm looking forward to what the mighty Johnson will give to us.
Be careful.
Would you ever?
The Johnsons, be careful. They'll stick it to you.
They sure will.
Would you ever see them tagging along in a war as being a reasonable idea, or just full on internal?
I'd love to see him hit somebody.
Well, they have in the past, for sure, and this year. But I would say currently, I don't know if that'd be such a smart move, just because it's just basically TFP at this point in time, right? If they were going to do that, it would have to be like I wouldn't say a dog pile. I think a dog pile wouldn't be very becoming, right? I don't think that'd be a good look. However, if it was something like that was pretty close and something. It would have to be low tier though too. Look at their tiering. It'd have to be a low tier war, so it'd have to be a war against like Midgard or something, and then they come in with someone. And that's the only thing that makes sense. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense for them in a global, in my opinion. But maybe they have other plans. I don't know.
Awesome. Let's see here. I am going to. I don't think there's anything else I have that is particularly relevant. Do any of you three gentlemen have any final words before I move on to something else?
Question for you. So, how long have you been doing this for?
A show?
Yeah, this show. How long has it been going for?
A month.
So, we're about your second show, third show?
Third.
So we are hands down your best show, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
You're welcome. You may continue.
Keep on. Hey, I love what you're doing right now, Lysander, doing like the bi-weekly thing with Morph. This is the crap that people dreamed about a few years ago, having these like constant shows. I think this is awesome. I hope other servers follow suit and more people get involved. I think it's fun. So keep it going.
So just one note on that, Kev. I think Thalmor, if he caught it, would take offense to being called Morph. So don't call him Morph.
Did I call him Morph?
Absolutely, you did. You did.
Sorry, buddy. Is he in here? I don't think he's in here.
He is.
He is.
He's typing.
Sorry, dude. I'm a couple beers deep.
I am stone cold sober.
I am not.
All right, Wizel, anything out of you?
No, I think that's all from me.
Thank you to you three for coming on. I appreciate it. Absolutely made the night an amazing show. And cheers. I am going to move on to very boring mechanics discussion before we hop into philosophy.
Oh, I love talking about mechanics. Let's do it.
Come
Did you say
on.
something, Kev?
Yeah, I would legitimately talk to you about mechanics.
I was just saying, have a good night. We'll see you.
Oh, thank you. You too. All right, SOD is going to co-host this part of the show with me.
Yeah,
why not? The first part of it was actually referring to Benfro. He got the negative planes. I thought that had been patched, but apparently it's not. So, who needs planes anyways? Apparently, we can have negative planes now.
All ground all the time, baby.
And there was also the map. Military action points are still broken. I thought that had been fixed, but maybe they have been by this point. This is a couple weeks old, but negative. Somebody went into -8 maps. So apparently we can just loan military points from now on.
Well, I know I've done that before by mistake. Where I think it was the last war where I think it was like a blitz and I launched a couple attacks and I realized I had launched more attacks than I had maps. And I felt bad. I messaged the guy. I was like, "Hey man, I hit you like 3 times. I should have only been able to hit you twice. So like I'm just not going to hit you for like the next 8 hours to try to make up for that because I just felt bad." And then I messaged Sheeps and I was like, "Sheeps, I done be cheating over here by mistake. Can you like help this dude out? Because if I kick your ass, I want to kick your ass legitimately. I don't want to kick your ass because the game didn't work correctly." But this has been an ongoing issue in the entire history of the game. Every time poor Sheeps does something, he fucks something else up. I kind of wonder.
I will say to that end, I had a war. I would have done the same thing, but I accidentally over attacked into the point where I beiged the opponent. So there was no like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll make it." No, it was just the war was over.
Yeah, the other thing that drives me nuts, Prez just messaged me about this, is the 10-minute delay. Holy fuck, that sucks. This is ridiculous. Like, I was so pissed when I was, because before we've been having 10-minute delay and you're like, okay, cool. So when we got blitzed, I was like, all right, well, I can use the 10-minute delay to my advantage this time instead of getting boned last time when we hit them. So I was all excited to do this. And then I found out that now we can't do anything for that 10 minutes between 8 o'clock and 8:10. Because on the blitz, I was able to rebuy at like 8:04 and then it updated and then I was able to rebuy again. I was like, all right, cool. I can use this to my advantage. This is great. And then they find out they completely changed it. I'm like, oh, you guys just fucked us. You fucked us right in the ass. Sucks.
And I did see he moved it. He shortened it. I don't know if you noticed, from 10 to 5.
Oh,
and then because you guys got hit, he moved it back to 10.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like poor Sheeps, like that kid, he needs to like professionally look at this. And like I don't know how he programs. Maybe he does, but I would think like you would make some kind of giant wall of all your stuff and everything that does everything else, and you have it all linked together so you could visually see like if I change this, it'll affect this, 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 and this. Or if I change this, it'll affect X, Y, and Z. So that way he's like, all right, well, I'm changing this. So then he'll know how to freaking check all of his shit. But I also say this as someone who doesn't know how to program, so I could be full of crap as well. But I would think you would kind of.
If I remember correctly, this was made as like a coding, like a class project or something.
Sure,
and he literally, but he made it by copying and pasting lines of code from other things. So it wasn't even that like he necessarily understood how everything tied in. He was just like, this does this, so we're gonna put it in and see and make it work until it works. I think actually what part of the issue is and why this has been ramped up is because Village he's a new I guess you could basically call him a new dev for the game because of how much work he's been doing. He's been helping Alex with API and doing the coding and this and that. And I think because he's actually rewriting some of it and doing it the right way, it's messing with the bootleg patch code that
They should
Alex
just
had
like take it
made.
down for like a week and just completely redo the thing and then boot it back up again or something.
How many people do you think he would lose if it went dead for a week?
But I think if you actually communicate it to the membership, and I don't know how long it'll take if they kind of figure it out. I think it'll be better in the long run. You suck it up for a couple days. Be like, listen, the game's going to be down. I mean, major games do this all the time, where they're like, yeah, we kind of fucked everything up. We're going to take the game down for a little bit, and we're going to fix it. And yeah, you'll probably take a hit in the short term, but in long term, hopefully you'll fix it and get it working correctly, and then it'll work better.
He has said, just quoting Zig, he has said he won't redo the code. So either that means he would have to pay somebody else to do it, or he just flat out won't do it. So that would be if it was actually like if he just put something out through notifications or whatever and said, game's going to be down. I would think he'd be able to keep a good bit of people. And if it actually ran properly, that would be amazing. But this is politics and war. We're getting a little too greedy here.
But at the same time, too, I mean, you guys can bitch about it and it's annoying, but you know what you're in for. We've been playing this game for years. This isn't like this is never going to happen. Things are going to go wrong every once in a while. That's just nature of the beast of the game. And I think if you're playing the game at a high level, or if you're playing a game at the low level, it's just something you just have to be aware of and expect that sometimes it'll fuck you in your favor and sometimes it'll fuck you in someone else's favor. And you just have to be used to it. And you have to recognize that it may happen. And I think that's just nature of the beast.
Precisely. Hot takes with SRD.
Well, I mean, you're welcome to bitch about it every time, but it's been 8 years and we're still having issues every once in a while. And they're different issues a lot of times too. And some are the same issues that have been going on for literally years and they just haven't been able to figure it out. And at the same time, it probably doesn't help that you have all these bots now that freaking DDoS the website every 5 minutes. I'm sure that doesn't help anything, but I don't actually know anything about computers, so it beats me. I can barely figure out how to talk in this microphone.
Part of what confuses me, I guess, is unless he just doesn't have or he didn't make any notes when he was making the game, if he does have any idea of how he made the site, you would think he'd be able to go back and look at where lines of code might not be properly operating, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have much experience in that field, so.
Nope, me neither. I just enjoy that every time he does an update, we always joke, we're like, oh, I wonder what's going to break this time. And 9 times out of 10, something else breaks. And we're like, there it is again. Good old Cheeps, killing it.
Speaking of something else breaking, relatively recently, Thalmor got to touch on it in his show. National projects ceased to exist. They just up and disappeared. Nobody could buy them. Nobody could see them. They're just gone. Yeah.
When was that? I didn't even notice.
It was for a bit of time on the 4th. It wasn't very long. They managed to get to it and patch it fairly quickly, actually. But for a while, it would show the number. I can actually go ahead and pull up some screenshots that were in Ron. Well, just for general viewing, but yes, they had, here we go, and here we go. So there was no way to see national projects. A number of other things were also broken at that time. You couldn't expand the city list or click into cities to see how they'd been built, that kind of stuff.
Listen,
but it all got
a smear campaign to me. I think you're besmirching the good name of Sheeps, and you photoshopped or Microsoft painted these pictures and just deleted them out. So what's up with that, dude? Do you have anything to say to that?
I don't think he needs me to besmear his name. He has plenty of other people to do it for him. Last mechanics related thing was the new forum post by Pre. And I expect something good to be said about this one, so let's go ahead and drop it here. There we are. Okay.
Oh, I don't think I read this one.
Oh, you should. It's glorious. For those of you that are in the same boat and did not get to read this beautiful post, allow me to do the honors. It's by Prefontaine. And it is an idea to delay the wars being decided in the Blitz. The idea to make ground superiority and air superiority to be gained after multiple immense triumphs instead of just one. Please vote in the poll, yada yada. This is specifically vague for a reason as to how it works, as we're looking to see if the way superiorities work needs some tweaking. There have only been 4 upvotes and 3 downvotes, so I'm guessing not many people bothered to read it either, or at least didn't bother to express themselves if they did. But there are a number of suggestions here. The poll was between leaving it as is and then 2, 3, or 4 immense triumphs to get superiority. Some other people have mentioned like a 12-turn timer. Yada yada. So, what's the general? Oh, then it's just not loading on my screen. Then sorry. What is the general feeling about changing how superiorities are earned?
Is Pre's in the chat? Pre, can you hop on? I know you hate my guts, and it's fine, but I actually have legitimate questions for you. Pre. Oh, he went quiet. Oh, there he is. He's typing. Give me 2. All right, cool. All right, so what's your question, sir?
I will invite you to speak, Pre, just in case. Oh, wait, you're server muted. Why are you server muted? Should be fixed. Okay, so whenever you get back, Pre, just let us know. SRD, what are your thoughts on delaying superiorities?
I will, seeing as I read about it literally 45 seconds ago, I don't know.
Those are the best thoughts.
So is this just like if you need 2 ground attacks ITs, or do you need like a Navy and a ground IT in order to get?
It would be, so if you want like ground control, you would need 2 ground attacks or 3 or 4, whatever the thing was. Same with air, you need 2 instead of 1.
Or would they just have to be, because the R&D is a fickle mistress who
that was not listed. It does not say whether it has to be consecutive or not.
But
I would assume consecutive.
I'm just thinking in a blitz, do I really care? Well, I guess I care because ground IT gets you killing air faster. And that would be the goal, to get ground. If you go air, I mean, yeah, you cut tanks in half. That's not that sucks, but it's not end of it. I don't know. I'd have to kind of sit down and think about it. I'm not going to just outright say no. I may end up saying, no, this is a terrible idea, but I'd have to sit down and kind of think about how it works. That's generally, so I know people may think I just come on here and say stupid shit, but when you guys post it, or Pre may think I come on here and say stupid shit on his forum post, but usually when you guys post shit like this, I actually do try to sit down and think about how you guys, or how this actually plays out. Because usually my goal is that, yeah, Pre's going to do whatever the fuck he wants. So if he does do it, I got to figure out how I can exploit it to my advantage. So that's usually what I try to do.
Posts aren't even from my origin.
Oh, so you're on? Sweet. Pre, what's up, buddy? It's been a few years since we talked. What's been 6, 7 years?
Sorry, I just had to change the output from my speakers on the computer to the headset. I don't know. I mean, we talked on the forums, like verbally.
Talk verbally.
I couldn't recall the last time. It's been
I think it was on your show way back in the day. That was great times. Anyways, so I have a question for you. So do you guys have any type of methodology when you do this stuff?
Yeah, for the most part, I keep a running list of suggestions that have come up, whether they're from the forums or from people messaging me directly with some decent ideas.
So do you guys do like any kind of root cause analysis or anything like that?
The general concept is something along the lines of what's the problem that needs to be fixed? Because sometimes it's Alex saying he wants something or doesn't want something. So what is the problem to be addressed, and how can we solve that problem in a more concise method? And
My
we
question
sort
is,
of brains-
how much effort do you guys put into actually figuring out what the actual problem is?
varies depending on the beige stuff and spy stuff. There's probably been I don't know how many chat logs time wise, but there's tens of thousands of pages of dialogue.
Good. That makes me feel a little better. Because realistically, you guys should be spending, my personal opinion, this is something I do professionally. I'm a manufacturing engineer. This is professionally problem solving is what I basically do all day, every day. And I kind of see you guys throw stuff up here, and it kind of feels like a lot of times you guys are just throwing things on the wall and be like, hey, someone said something about this once. What do you guys think? We're just going to do this. And a lot of times what that does is that's just a Band-Aid and doesn't really fix anything. And all you're doing is you're covering up a deeper problem. And I feel like a lot of times you guys aren't really getting to the root of the actual problem. And I think you're doing a disservice to yourselves and to the rest of the game when you guys do that. Because one, it kills your...
I can tell you there's reasons for that. Kind of what I mentioned Zig said is not entirely accurate. There is a limit to the scope of a project we can do. Basically, if we're going to rebuild the war module or something to that effect, Alex has told me that he might as well make a new game at that point. So I don't like doing things like that aren't a reality. So we're limited in the scope of what we can work on.
Yeah, but the scope's not the issue. It's the issue is trying to find what the actual cause of the problem is. So for spies, for instance, right? And people are like, oh, spies are the worst. Well, did you really figure out, is the problem that, 3 spy attacks wipes out all your dudes? Or is the problem that you can only buy 4 spies a day or 3 spies a day? Or is the problem that, there's, I don't know, you just have to you dig down, you keep asking questions until you dig down and figure out, okay, this is the actual problem with spies. And then once you kind of figure that out, you can kind of work up, and finding a solution to that problem is generally 10 times easier than if you don't actually know what the solution is.
I mean, that's really what marketing ultimately boils down to. It's about figuring what message you're actually trying to put out there.
Lenny knows. He knows what's up. You got to do the 5 whys.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. You got to get your wishbone diagrams out and all that crap. That's the worst. But that's the only thing, because I feel like you guys kind of throw stuff on the wall, and I'm not a part of your group. And to your credit, I have no interest in being part of your group. I already have a job. I don't want another one, especially one that doesn't pay me anything. And I'm sure you probably don't want to listen to me prattle on your forum, because I know you got me kicked out the last time I was in a group like that. Oh, that's right. Shots fired. That's the only thing I was wondering about. Keep up the mediocre at best work. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
So to get back to your actual question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
There is a process, and we are limited on the scope, like I said, but the core root of the problem is also trying to get down to that with 6 people in the group's opinions, and then trying to get down to that with the whole community's opinion on that, because you have a wide variety of knowledge sets on the game, intelligence sets on just in general. So you'll have people that fixate on 1 or 2 smaller issues in lieu of the bigger picture. So for instance, with spies, the problem trying to be solved was how to make it so that someone can't just be eternally pinned down, the same problem that was trying to be solved with beige cycling. So both of those were being looked at the same time, because that's the core concept Alex wanted to switch to make it so that people could actually come back if there was a mechanical avenue for them to rebuild and try to retaliate should that play out in their favor or be something they wanted to do. So with spies, the core was a little bit twofold. They die too quickly and they take too long to rebuild. But the core problem between those two is that you could, once you have someone down, effectively hold them down forever. So that's the core root of the problem there.
Cool. So I do want to throw out a quick suggestion, actually, because sometimes things come out of the blue. When
that's the
Alex
antithesis of what we're trying to do, Lysander.
Well, just when Alex
that's
decides,
exactly what you don't want. Throwing out solutions doesn't help.
No. When Alex decides he's going to do something, and we all know Alex sometimes he just sits down and he says, "I'm going to do this." y'all need to put out like a forum post summary of what's going on. I don't know if you've done this much. I know a couple times it's been done. A couple times I might have just missed it, and it has been done all the time. But sometimes some of this really does seem to come just out of the blue. No one asked for it. It was never discussed, and we're getting it for free. And so that's just one recommendation. The other thing I have is a question on this whole forum post here about superiority. Am I correct in reading that the attempt of this post was to find some form of solution to wars being decided as whoever blitzes is the automatic winner? Was that the attempt, or was that the problem this was attempting to solve?
So when blitzes happen, they typically are decided within about the first 12 hours of the engagement. Sometimes it's a little quicker depending on how big of a dog pile or landslide it is. But the real goal is to extend that time frame to give the other side a meaningful opportunity to try to bring in allies and coordinate something. So usually people are effectively screwed over in war once they have superiorities gained on them. It's really, by that point, their active units have been driven down enough where they're not going to be able to retaliate in a meaningful way. So extending the timeline that it would take to get someone under both air and ground, or at least even one of them, can be a little more in favor of assisting the side to be able to come back. Just losing because you're not online at the right time is kind of a shitty thing.
Go back to the speed round.
I'd rather not.
Go to sleep.
Have
wake
you,
up.
you guys, you've said, of course, that Alex has said if he has to make a new war system, he might as well make a new game. And you've also said that there are tens of thousands of pages of dialogue on the subject. Have you guys come to the conclusion at any point that the war system does need a heavy makeover, and yet you cast that idea aside because Alex has basically said he's not going to accept it?
That's a fair answer.
I mean, it's a fairly logical conclusion. That's happened many a time, especially when new faces come into the design team and want to talk about really big concepts that, dramatically change the war system. So, yeah, it happens frequently, and we're looking at the beige end of things right now as the biggest thing that we can make a change on to impact how heavily one-sided wars can be. I mean, it's still the problem is the mechanics can only do so much. You're going to have the player problem, and you're going to have the mechanics problem. The player problem revolves around players are always going to go for the most optimal route, and the most optimal mean of defeating your enemy is bringing overwhelming numbers against them. So you're never going to be able to really tweak that because there is no skill cap in this game. The example I usually give in the design team channel is something along the lines of, you can tell someone exactly how to play politics in war. You can say, okay, you're going to log in at this time, you're going to attack these 3 nations, you're going to do these attacks in this order, and there's really no skill cap to that. It's just being there. As long as you have someone in charge of a group that has the knowledge set that comes with this game, it's really a knowledge gap that exists, not a skill gap. Whereas you say, all right, I want you to go play this first-person shooter, you're going to play a sniper, and I want you to click on every single person's head and shoot them and kill them in one hit. That is where there's a skill gap. That's where you can have the group of 5 people being able to take on that group of 20 because they're just that much more better at the game. They have that mechanical skill versus people that do not. So that's one area people just have to kind of accept in these games, that there's always going to be the push for those dog piles, and there's really no quality mechanics that we can implement in politics and war that change that.
Not with that attitude. Jesus, come on, Pre. But actually, I agree with you. I do agree with you. 80% of this game is just showing up.
Yeah, there's the knowledge gap and knowing what to do when you show up, and then if you don't have that, as long as you have good leadership that gives you the orders and you're willing to listen and do what they say, then there's really no difference between the best player and an average player. There'll be some little fine-tuned points that really aren't going to change the tide of a war, typically speaking, because they're rarely that close. But there's no way to kind of overcome that the main incentive to perform the best is to bring the most guns to the party at this point.
So one last thing, just to follow up. Essentially, you guys have touched on theoretical solutions that have been killed simply because Alex will not implement them. That is an accurate statement, correct?
Well,
A little harsh.
That's not entirely true. I think when it was really just me in there, a little more fleshed out of a system came around that was just like, yeah, no, this isn't going to... that's when I got shot down for the first time of like, no, we're not going to build something to this degree. Might as well just make a new game if we're going to redesign one of the core elements. Same thing with like if you're going to design the whole econ growth kind of aspect of the game, might as well redesign a whole game at that point, because building it from scratch would be better than trying to force a square into the circle that is politics and war. You're going to have some really problematic overlays, and then also the coding is going to be vastly different in quality. Because yes, he did program this through school, but he didn't just like copy and paste other people's code. He actually built things himself. So it's not all just like ripped off. He did actually know to an extent what he was doing. It just probably wasn't the most efficient version of coding. And having someone with a more focused coding element, because Alex shifted more into business for his graduate stuff, where I'm pretty sure other coders are more heavily built in that way. So he's kind of got like a computer business focus versus core programming. So the programming isn't going to be the most efficient. So when you bring in an efficient coder, there's going to be all sorts of problems. So redesigning that and trying to shove it into the politics and war system, you think seeing a few blank pages is bad. I don't want to see what's going to happen to that degree. So usually, to get back to the core of the question, when I see some of the excited design team members start talking about a really in-depth design that's going to like completely change the war system, I usually kind of put the brakes on them, because I don't want to see them spend a bunch of time and effort putting work in on something. Just have it go, yeah, this is great, but maybe in Politics and War 2 or whatever the next version he ends up releasing, if he does one, you know.
Cool.
To answer Chad's question, I don't know. You know, Alex, for those who have known him for as long as I have, and maybe even longer, he does change his mind on things. It often takes a little while. Sometimes it happens real quick. He can flip-flop. So, you know, if we bring it to him over and over about how we really need to redesign, then it becomes a cost-benefit analysis, you know. How much longer is this game going to continue on for? How much longer is it going to continue to make enough money for it? And then how much work, effort, time, and cost is going to go into rebuilding things to a large degree? So, yeah, I know what Village is working on. So, it really, with having some more coding help on hand, the more Village is able to competently take on and effectively take on, you might be able to see a willingness towards some of those bigger solutions. But again, like it's going to be the quintessential cop board with red strings going everywhere, trying to figure out what's going to go where. Because if you rebuild the war system, you're probably going to have to rebuild the whole game system. And for someone whoever said take it down for a week to do this, it's going to take longer than a week. And two, you don't need to take it down. You can just build it on the test server and then push the test server live. You know, you don't have to actually take the game off.
I don't know anything about coding. I openly admit that. As I said, I failed Java in college.
There's a lot you don't know anything about.
Oh, I don't disagree with that as well.
Well, thank you, Pri, for coming on to discuss this. I appreciate it. Any last comments on anything at all?
Hopefully, two things are going to happen before the end of the year. First will be kind of the, you know, how I release those bulk, like these lists of changes are basically in the final designs. Hopefully we'll have one of those for the final round of war changes, which will be predominantly focused around beige. And depending on what happens with the superiority thing, I'm going to post the thread probably early next week, depending on how busy I get, where we'll lay out some ideas of how staggered superiority could work, and even like something to make ships more influential. Maybe if you get an IT in the Navy, it'll break one level of the air superiority or the ground superiority if someone's stacking that up against you. So maybe it'll make ships useful for breaking some of the superiorities, a way to make them more useful too. So there's all sorts of little ideas poking around with that. So hopefully we're going to have that sometime in the middle of the fall. And perks will hopefully be sometime middle of fall, late fall as well, for the kind of public consumption level, where the general concept of perks are a skill tree that is time-based. For those familiar with EVE Online, something akin to that, where you have to spend a certain amount of time to unlock those, and there'll be, I believe, 5 tiers that you can lock under each tree. And we'll make something where like you can buy the first 1 or 2 with credits, but then the higher, more powerful ones have to be time-based no matter what. So there's stuff that's going to impact several areas of the game, not just war, not just econ, for things that'll give you little perk bonuses, and you can only have a certain number active at a time. So where projects are limited by your infra, and you know that's only done so much to make people have to pick and choose, because there's certain people that have all of them. With this, everyone will be capped at a certain amount, so you can only have a certain amount active, and then there'll be restrictions to switching and all that. So those are the two like main things probably coming. There'll likely be the usual couple small projects sprinkled in, or maybe a few little tweaks of some numbers that need a slight adjustment. But those are the next 2 big things coming out from what I'm working on, at least.
All right, thank you, Pri. To look at the rest of our lovely itinerary, there's not much here. There's philosophy, which I don't know how many of you are very interested in, but I personally would love to go over at least one thing on. But first, it's time for me to talk about my area of expertise and why it is probably going to be completely irrelevant instead of just being mostly irrelevant. Business. So, as those of you know who have done any involvement whatsoever in business in this game, there are quite a few idiots that get themselves involved. Investing or running things, they are not always the brightest of bulbs. And I am officially predicting the entire industry just going obsolete at this point. Banks, everything are just going to be completely irrelevant unless we actually get another powerhouse, but there are only a couple people now that could still pull that off. And the reasoning behind this is because I have been looking at a number of these new banks, new businesses, new people in general, and they have no idea what they're doing. Like, to the point it's concerning. I if they had tried to run this kind of garbage a year ago, they'd have been laughed out of the industry. SRD, you be quiet. No, the 13-year-olds don't know what they're doing. And honestly, it's really just, I had to throw it in there because it's something relevant to me, but I don't see this lasting much longer. I mean, banks have always had a tough time. As many of you know, and as many of you have been responsible for, scams happen all the time. And
I don't get, why would you ever trust anybody with your money? Why? I don't get it. How stupid do you have to be? It's only a matter of time before you get fucked. Only a matter of time.
Well, it depends on when you can. If you play the game properly and you pull out before there's a time limit on every business. That's what I've discovered. 9 times out of 10, if you look hard enough, you can guesstimate what that time limit is, and you can sell off your stuff and leave before you get screwed. There's a method, but in general anymore, it's just the only thing you can do is trust your alliance, and even then, you can't trust most of those because they don't know what they're doing either. So it's just that's really the end of that. Is
But why discourage it? Let them do it. If they want to do it, let them do it. Never discourage someone for doing something inside the game. If they want to put the effort in that needs to do it, and they're successful at it, great. Then we have a new successful bank. If they suck and they screw everybody over, well, good. Then they're a son of a bitch, and we'll kill them. End game.
Oh, I'm not saying I'm not saying don't do it, although that's kind of where Borg has mentioned it before. I think other people have. The whole scamming and attacking and just general trying to ruin businesses and banks and those people operating that, they're not just, it's not, it's just a game. Obviously, yes, it's all just pixels, but at the same time, somebody put their effort. Moonlight Bank is what you're referring to, Ninja. Somebody put their effort into building that up, and you're tearing that down. They put their time into it. And so, well, yes, you can argue they should have been able to see that coming. At the same time, it's not the greatest.
That's not true.
It's not the.
I mean,
What's
I would
not
think
true?
you're going into that thinking that people are going to treat you fairly, but the world will treat you that there's going to be bottom feeders no matter where you go. And it's just that's part of the price of doing business, and you need to build that into your model in order to be successful.
And I don't disagree that they should expect that that's going to happen, but that doesn't change the fact. Like, if you go to New York City right now, you can expect to be assaulted. That doesn't mean that the assaulter is now exempt of guilt because you were expecting it to happen. Just because it's part of the business at this point where people are going to scam and people are going to steal and people are going to try to screw you over doesn't make them exempt from the moral negativity on that end of the spectrum.
It's all risk management. You need to manage that risk, and you need to be aware of that risk so that you can build that into your bank so that you can properly run a bank and still be succccessful.
Absolutely.
I mean,
like I said,
like the real world, they expect a certain amount of stolen, licensed stuff. They expect people to steal a certain amount of stuff from them every quarter or every whatever, and they have that built into their budget. They're like, oh, well, we know we're going to lose $5 million this quarter because people are just going to steal our shit. But they know that, and they build it into it. So that's part of the thing. And granted, if you have a 13-year-old, I don't expect them to think about that, and they're probably going to fail. But I would hope if they do fail, at least they learn something from it.
And like I said, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you on that. I'm just saying on the other end, well, yes, you have to build that in and you have to prepare for that and have a model around that. You can't at the same time just say, okay, well, it's not, or they're still doing the right thing, or it's a morally neutral thing. It's still not a good thing that they're doing.
It's bad. Those people are scumbags. And part of it is that you need to have a system in place in order to punish them as well, or at least hurt them somehow, just to be, so if you're going to screw me, I'm going to put some kind of damage onto you, and you have to be willing to do that as well.
And that is where that is where a lot of businesses could prosper if they sat down and they not only did they factor in part of it as loss, but they factored in more of it as loss than what they were expecting, so that they had something to throw at purchasing mercenaries. And a lot of people ask banks or businesses, well, why don't you just go pay mercs to roll them? It's actually a very logical reason why they don't, because 9 times out of 10, what happens is whoever it is joins ARG or somebody where they're expecting to lose infrastructure, or they're with an alliance that's going to protect them. If they're with an alliance that's going to protect them, like if somebody from Cataclysm decides to steal and Cataclysm sits down and says, well, if you launch mercenaries, we're going to utterly destroy them and come after you, then there's no point in doing that. You're just going to absolutely get yourself blown out of the water and incur additional costs. That's where a lot of people they don't understand buying mercs is just an added expense. You're increasing the loss basically, and odds are you're not going to get anything out of it unless whoever you've hired is going in attempting to get it back for you. It's 9 times out of 10 it's offshore, it's gone, you're never going to see it again. And so that's where businesses in this game, that's why they all have a time limit, because there is no SEC, there are no laws regarding bankruptcies or defaults. There is no general rule over defaulting and how this works. You can screw someone over and walk away without really any issues. So that's the general reasoning why there's a timeline. The banks and businesses in general can be lucrative if you play the time limit properly. But if you hold your shares for too long, your investment for too long, you're gonna lose it. Most likely, there's really very little way for a business to guarantee. It was mentioned Moonlight Bank. They did run at a profit for a very long time. P-Suite knew what he was doing. Recently, Billionaire Sweeeet, Seb and we had the Bank of Orbis that ended at a profit. Whose fault is it? What are we talking about? What are we faulting? The end of the bank, or what is the fault that is being blamed here? If we're talking about the fault of you losing money, that's probably you. If that is where I despise Dirage and all of them, where they just sat down Green and they just sat down and said, oh, well, investing is a risk. That's just, you're throwing accountability out the window. That's disgusting. On the other end of the spectrum, they're right. Investing is a risk. And if you trust somebody with your funds, you need to be prepared to lose them. The same model for the real world applies here. If you can't afford to lose it, you don't invest it. It's just that simple. So that's all there is to it. Now, if you're talking about being scammed, part of that blame lies with the bank for being scammed, because they should have a more rigorous blah, blah, blah. The procedures need to be there. The deterrent needs to be there, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, a good chunk of the blame just lies in how the system works itself. There are no rules and there are no way to create rules because alliances just don't care. They have no reason to care. So there's no way to create a general rule, and without rules, everything falls apart. There is no law, and so there is no order. And so, well, yeah, you blame the bank for part of that. You're also just going to end up with people who look great. They come in, they get a loan. They've been with, the Immortals for 5 months. Everything's great. And then they decide, oh, well, we're going to go jump ship to ARG. Well, there was nothing you could do. It was a picture perfect loan and you lost it. It happens. So aside from building it in, but there's only so much you can build in because profits are limited, etc. That's why so many remaining banks are just trading firms. That's all they really are. That's where the profits come from. So that's it. That's the end of my rant on business. Philosophy, unless we have any other politics and war news. Final call on that.
Nope.
Okay. So unless somebody drops something in the chat, philosophy. The one thing that I want to talk about, because it's my pet peeve personally, and I hate watching people do it. A number of people have said we need a villain, and not just an alliance, but like a person. We need somebody to play the evil, blow up the game, kill people, yada, yada. the super villain. We need one of those. I despise the entire kind of talk that is, because you don't need a bad guy. And even if you have a bad guy FA-wise, Zig, even if you had that FA guy, the game has proven over and over that you're just going to screw him over anyways. Every time somebody has tried to play the bad guy, everyone unites against them like that. Or anyone, every time anyone even tries to be themselves and kind of play the game as like they're going to hardball it, they get screwed over. So you don't need a villain.
So you
need leader. Go ahead.
You do. So as someone who's played the villain, there's give and take. So you're going to get fucked when you play the villain. It's understood. But the point of playing the villain is it's fucking fun. It is a lot of fun to play the villain. Because you can be a dick and you can really start screwing people over, and you can start waving your balls around and put them on people's foreheads, and it's awesome. It's a great time. I bet you Horsecock probably has more fun in this game than 99% of the people in this game, and that's because he's a giant dick, and he's probably a pretty big bad guy in this game. And it's helpful, and it's also makes the game more fun for everyone else too. So as a leader of Grumpy, I hate it when I have no one to hate. I need someone to hate, because it motivates me to keep going. So if I'm just like everyone getting along, I'm just like, this fucking sucks. Who am I going to target now? Because I like everybody. This isn't fun. I always joke with, I don't joke because I actually do have this, but I talk to TS all the time about, I have a list of people I want to roll. And that list changes constantly. So for the last year or two, TS has been at the top of that list. And which is why we keep hitting them. They actually, after we beat them last war, they dropped down the list, but I got overruled on who we got to hit. So we ended up hitting them again. That's the point. But it's more fun to have people that you don't like. If everyone gets along, sure, that's great because everyone's getting along and hunky-dory and we're all joking around. But in game, if you have someone to dislike if you have competition, it makes the game so much more fun. It makes it so much more engaging, and it makes it more entertaining. I mean, realistically, real world, like I can talk to any of these guys and we can get along because I don't actually hate them. But in game, yeah, I would love to destroy some people in game. And it just makes it more interesting.
And that's where a lot of times I think we need to sit down and just look at micros and nanos in general and stop. A lot of times what happens is when they get picked up, they get thrown into the giant conglomerate that exists now. They are told, it's basically conform or get cut. And so, I'm sure SRD loves micros, Hillbilly. But it's not even that you need villains, because what happens with a villain is then everyone unites against them. What you need are leaders with a pair of balls. You need somebody who's going to stand up and fight the good fight. That's where we have
it could be a bad
people,
fight too.
or the bad fight. Well, from their perspective, it's going to be fight the good fight because they've picked their values and they're going to stand for them. It doesn't match everyone else's values, but they're going to fight for you're going to fight for your vision. And so that's where we need more of that, particularly in established macro alliances. Because now it's where's the CB? Oh, we need a CB. Who cares about the you know why? Declare war because it's fun. And somebody does. I don't know if anyone has actually put that in the war declaration. Just somebody put it in there.
We declared war because I
don't
wanted to see who was better, us or
yeah.
I literally did that last war because I didn't have a CB. I was just like, all right, we're going to hit them. I'm like, well, I guess we'll find out who's better, us or them. We've been staring at each other for 6 months now. So let's do it.
But then, and that's the thing, is that then you have people that do that, like last war for SRD. And then Rose turns around and is like, well, you didn't have a CB, so we're going to use that as our CB and we're going to hit. It's.
I'm okay with that. That's perfect. Revenge is a really good reason to hit somebody.
Absolutely, but it's not just revenge. Their war wasn't just revenge. It was revenge because you didn't have a valid reason for hitting us. And I think that latter part is a dangerous part for politics and for just politics in the game. Revenge is fine. Everyone loves revenge. It's great to have vendettas because it's fun. But making it so that you have to have some super crucial killer reason to attack somebody or to go to war, that's everyone spies on each other because they want reasons. Everyone monitors their allies because they're not always going to be permanent allies, and they want a reason to blow them up in the future. And it stagnates everything. And so more wars for fun. And the other thing is not killing new people when they come up. You get nanos that do crazy things. You get micros that do crazy things. You get leaders of these micros that people don't necessarily like, or that play the hardball, or whatever. They play a strong macro leader when they're still a micro, but then they get blown to the seven hells for it.
I agree with that.
And that's just, I don't understand why, because we have so many people that sit down and say, we need more spice, or we need to spice things up, or we need more strong leaders or better talent or whatever. It appears, and then you all roll them out of the game. Like, that is, to me, that's the most absurd part of watching politics in this game. And that we just saw with the Eclipse and Rose, that there are pretty absurd parts to this game. That's my rant. That is really my pet peeve, is people are like, oh, we need this, or we just need people with kahunas and have vision. That's all we need.
But part of your vision, if part of your vision is having a CB, I mean, that's part of your vision. So some people, I know Juana got mad at us because we hit them without really having a CB. And he's like, what the fuck? That's not how we play politics. And I'm like, well, that's how I play politics and war. And you're going to have to deal with it. And if you don't like that, you are welcome to come attack me afterwards, because I play the way you don't like to play. But me declaring hitting war is a political action, and one I am choosing to exercise. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. They're different. There's not one way to play this game, and different people play it differently. So, I mean, sure, it would be better if some people played a lot more aggressive than they do, but there are groups out there that do play aggressively. Because generally what you learn if you play this game for a while is that if you're the aggressor, generally you are going to be the winner. And if you're the one that's reacting rather than acting, you are going to find yourself behind the 8 ball pretty quick. Yes, see, Hillbilly is correct. It's my fault that he's getting his ass kicked right now. Because when we broke off the GGO, we knew we were vulnerable because we were only 100 man strong. But we just wanted to try something. We're like, you know what? We've been doing this a long time. Let's try something. Let's have some fun. Could it bite us in the ass? It probably could. Will it bite us in the ass? It probably will. But, you know, it'll be fun to find out. And that, to actually honestly answer your question that you asked me about 2 hours ago, that's the actual answer to that question.
Just having fun, see what happens. Yeah.
Because we've done playing for years, try and do something different. And some people,
that's really what we need.
Maybe you shouldn't say allied to Guardian. And to that I say, fuck you guys. Guardian's the best.
But that's the thing. We need more people doing stuff just for fun, not because it fits with the meta, or it fits with this or whatever. Just do it. That's where I've been a huge advocate of people taking alliances on their own merit. People sitting down and just basically saying, you know, look at how alliances are. Choose your allies based on who you like. That's where I am a fan of not necessarily keeping the treaty web 100% clean. And I know that's going to make me the enemy of about everyone in this game, but I would absolutely love to see non-chaining treaties and have alliances pick their own allies rather than sticking with a couple of individuals, and those individuals are the ones that decide the allies for the group. If you look at, just to name a an alliance. Let's go ahead and look at House Stark. Why not House Stark? Yeah. So if you look at House Stark, they followed the syndicate, and their allies have basically been decided for them. No, they're not direct allies of Cataclysm and Paradise, but that's really where their allies extend to. Now, if they want to sign somebody from Soldiers of Liberty, like the Soldiers of Liberty, the Federation, Mini Microsphere, if they want to sign some floating alliance, they can.
To their head to say that they had to join that block. They didn't have to join that block. And when you join a block, you are taking the responsibility, at least if it's part of the block, to say, hey, this is going to be, you guys are my group of allies. I'm not going to ally outside of this. This is how we're going to go. Or if you're in a block that says, yeah, you can, I don't care. Your allies are your allies as long as we're at the top. That's also fine. But the reason that it gets frowned upon to spread out and get everything sticky is, which actually kind of makes things a little more interesting, is that you'll get alliances that are allied to everyone. And then when a war breaks out, they just pick the winning side every time. And it's tougher it makes it a lot more difficult to run a war or plan a war if you don't know which of your allies are actually going to help you or not. And then because your allies allied to your enemy that you want to hit, they go and they tell them, and you're like, well, fuck, now my ability to screw them over or to win that war just became 10 times more difficult because the guy who I thought had my back is really slightly likes the other guy a little bit better, and he just leaks my whole plan. So that's kind of why we're at the place we are now, because it's just a lot cleaner, where I can go and I can talk to all my allies and be like, hey, I want to hit this guy. And they can all be like, fuck yeah, let's hit him. Or nah, discount your dumbass SRD. Stop saying stupid things. And I could be like, cool. And it just makes it cleaner and it makes it so much easier for the rest of us to plan things. Does it make it interesting for the rest of the world? No, but as a leader, it makes my life 15 times easier. And I'm all about making my life 15 times easier.
And I'm not saying, return to everyone, allies, everyone in the treaty web is just everyone has an MD with everyone else. But at the same time, when it's like, for instance, to give an example, I know of an alliance that was treated with someone else a couple months ago, and that treaty was cut because a sphere told that alliance, wasn't even part of the sphere, no, you can't have this treaty. And in my opinion, that kind of allowing that, now granted, that's the alliance's choice to go with the sphere decision and not make their own mind or say, frick you guys, we're doing our own thing. That is the alliance choice. I completely get that. But to not have more alliances kind of willing to do their own thing rather than just submit to block willpower, or even not even necessarily treaty wise, but what Rose did during Celestial. Not that the Rose Eclipse team up against GGO was a good thing, but the fact that Rose declared war independent of Celestial, that, in my opinion, was a step in a better direction. Now that they're back with Eclipse, it doesn't really matter and it's irrelevant. But having alliances that are part of spheres or have a group of allies declare war without their allies or with a different ally or a different alliance that's not even in that same sphere.
Well, let's be honest about that too. Is that was a strategic move on their part. That wasn't a YOLO, let's do this. That was strategic because they leave TS out, and basically what that does is that gives them coverage, so that if perchance we actually, their paranoia was correct and we do have secret treaties or whatever, and someone comes to our defense, TS is literally sitting there to prevent anyone from helping us. So I mean, as a block, they are still working together on that fact. So even though they're not going to war at the same time, they're still working together.
Although technically that's done now since the treaties are gone.
So now, hey, all the other blocks, you guys want a piece of Rose and Eclipse? Come on in, you're all invited. The water's warm. A little green, but it's great.
So, but that's really it. That's the other thing that I support is alliances taking the initiative on their own, not waiting for spheres. But let's sum that up.
Leadership thing too. You need to have strong leadership. I try to do my best as a leader to not dictate what my allies do. So if my allies want to, ally somebody else outside, or if they want to, take in a bunch of people or take a prot, I will give my opinion if asked. Sometimes I'll give my opinion if not asked, but I'm not going to be like, no, you cannot do this. I will lay out why I think it may be a bad idea, but ultimately it's your goal because I'm not running your alliance. We're in a partnership, and I would hope that my words have some weight because we're in an equal partnership. But realistically, what you want to do is what you want to do. And I would hope a lot of other alliances work like that, but I have a feeling a lot of them don't, which is disappointing. And it makes me a little sad because I feel like, and I don't know this for a fact because I'm not in other alliances, but yeah, I think you're right. There are some alliances that basically dictate what the smaller members can or cannot do. And I think that's fucked up. I mean, I look at Oblivion, who has 10 members. As far as I'm concerned, they have an equal say in GGO as we do, and Guardian does, even though us and Guardian have 40, we're 4 times larger than they are.
Yeah. And that's the way to look at it, is kind of let everyone do their own thing. Because once you start suppressing the individual, you just get the formless blob again.
I don't think it's fun. I think it sucks if someone else, you're trying to run an alliance, someone else is telling you what you have to do. That's not fun. No thanks.
No, and that's where that jumps back to kind of the whole protecting micro stuff. I work with an alliance on advising them, and when we did pick up a prot, we didn't do it because we were like, you look cool, but we want to fix what you're doing. We did it because it was like, we like what you're doing. We want you to keep doing more of it. We like it so much we'd actually want to be allies with you in the future. And so let's see if we can get a protectorate agreement arranged so that you have somebody that can cover you while you keep doing what you're doing and create that unique perspective. I think a lot of alliances, when they pick up a prop, they don't look at it that way. They look at it more as, whatever you're doing, we don't care about. Start mimicking what we're doing, and we're going to turn you into a mini us. And that I just don't think is a fun foreign affairs outlook at all.
Fair.
Now here's a fun schizo thing. From seriousness to schizo, as Dumbledore would say. Politics and war being pay to play. Now, not in the sense that you would think, but I have noticed, and I'm going to bring it up just for laughs. This is not serious. This is more of a troll discussion, but I'm still going to talk about it seriously anyways.
You can't,
I have noticed,
if you want to troll, you can't say that you're going to troll. You just have to do it, and you have to be dead serious about it, and that's how you get people fired up.
Well, no, I don't know if Pri is still listening, and I don't want to get yelled at for it, so I'm not going to take that.
Don't worry about getting yelled at. Just do it.
I have now. Some of you all heard of what, Poseidon, right? Who hasn't heard of, well, SRD? You don't know anyone, but aside from SRD, who knows who Poseidon is?
Oh wait, is that dude?
One in the chat
like threatened people, and he was like, "Oh, I'm breaking the game." And was that dude that made that post on the forum?
No, Jon Snow, Xander, Albus Dumbledore.
Oh, that's the dude that leaked.
Yes,
that dude's
the Rose stuff.
Oh, this is so fun story about that dude. Before you go, so he or before you go on your rant, he sends me this message, right? And he's like, "Hey, did you see these leaks?" And I'm like, "Dude, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about." So he sends me all these things, and then the very last one was like it was him saying something about how he was against it, the leak part, and I ended up screenshotting him and I posted them on the forums. So I was like, "Hey, so why did you leak this?" He's like, "No, it wasn't me." I'm like, "No, dude, it was definitely you." He's like, no, I got hacked. I got proof that I got hacked. I'm like, dude, I would believe you if you didn't come out of the blue. Person who I never talked to says, "Hey, did you see these leaks?" And 2, the very last thing that you sent to me was how you were against the leaks. And it's like, everything points to you doing this. Stop. Don't even bias. Don't even waste your time. Like, stop trying to act like you didn't do this. You did this. You're proud of it. That's why you literally came to me, because it was about me, to show to me, to be like, "Hey, look at this. I did this." And it's like, come on, dude. Do you think I'm really that stupid? Do you think anyone's that stupid? It's obvious. But sorry.
So for him, on that line of thought, the reason now, I don't know if he shared it with somebody, and because I've heard people say, like Spanky has sat down and said, no, there's no way that he did it. And if it was not him, which is a massive if above and beyond, I think it was him personally. But if it wasn't, why didn't he sit down and just say that initially? Like, why default to, oh, I was hacked? If he had shared it, because some of the theories was, oh, it was like a gov leak, or maybe he told somebody and they leaked it. I want Spanky blows smoke on everything. I wouldn't be surprised. If that was the case, that should have been his default is, oh, so-and-so, I might have told so-and-so, and they might have leaked it. Not, oh, I was hacked. Now, the only reason that is semi-believable as a tagline is because his nation was hacked a while ago by his bot, a person he paid to do bot development. Alex supposedly restored everything, etc., which is actually the theme of why pay to play exists. But but his Discord was never hacked. It was just his nation that got hacked. And so that's why I default to no, he spilled the beans and then tried to act like he didn't spill the beans. And yeah, as CCT said, and I think everyone else really said, if someone accuses you of being a leaker, you don't go leak everything else. Try to prove that that's just not how you go about proving that you didn't do it. So regardless of whether he did or he didn't, he deserves all the hailstorm that comes with having done it. And that's my opinion on that bit. Now, pay to play. This is fun because I don't know how many of you know people that donate, but I have found that if somebody is a more kind of a regular not just like, oh, you donated once or twice in your existence and congratulations, but if they are a somewhat regular donator to the game, like this Poseidon guy, I'm pretty sure someone tracked that he's spent over like $1,000 on the game. And if you have regularly spent money on politics and war, you get a much faster and much more favorable response from Alex. I think it was within 6 to 12 hours of this dude's nation being hacked, he got everything restored instantaneously. And now it's not like he was SRD or Wizel or some top 10 or top 50 leader, because you can understand why they would get a faster response from Alex, because they're relevant to the gameplay.
Oh, I don't get any.
You don't?
No, I do not.
Most of my response, sometimes I'll get them within the day if I'm lucky, but usually they take a couple days to a week.
Well, I try not to ask him anyways. I just, he's the owner of a game. Unless something really bad happens, I try not to bother him ever. The only time I'll bother him is if I run into bugs, and I'll be like, hey, FYI, I ran into this. You may want to take a look. And that's generally
fair.
Because I don't think he does. Some people may disagree with me. I mean, I don't look at the stuff that he does very much. I know a lot of people are anti-sheeps, but and I'm not. The kid's just trying to do the best he can. And if he is giving preferential treatment to donators, I mean, can you blame him? Those are people putting money in his pocket and helping him run the game. Versus, and I don't know what his breakdown is if he's really running the game off donations, or if he doesn't really need donations and they're just bonus money for him, and he makes plenty from just advertisements and stuff like that. I don't know. I remember he had a post back in the day about all that stuff, but I don't remember how it went.
Which is fair, but because I've had a couple people actually I've worked with. It's ironic how many of these businessmen just buy credits every month.
Sure, it's not that. What, $40? $40 gets you 10. $60.
No, I haven't bought them ever, so I get that. I have that discount.
They used to be like $25 every 6 months, and it would get you 10. And I used to do that, and then he changed it, so then I stopped. Because I was like,
I have the whatchamacallit, the discount or it's like $40 for 10.
Yeah, that's what it is now. There used to be if you didn't buy things for like 180 days, it would go down to $25. But now what he did is it's only one credit for $2 versus one credit for $5. And that's like, well, no thanks.
And you can buy 20 now. So yeah, he
it was
probably
crazy.
makes a good chunk off of these people.
Someone was bitching about something, so on the forums I did the math, and like you can literally get from in a year donating 20 credits, you can get to I think it was like City 2026 on just credit donations within a year. It was crazy. Just out of the pure profit that you would make out of that. What is it? 20 million times 20, which is 400 million a month. So out of that 400,
it's 400, but I would assume you could probably even sell them plus.
Correct. Yeah, sure. But I mean, just straight up doing that, you can get from City 0 to City like 26 within a year, and it's crazy. And that's not including the money you would make naturally just out of donations. So I mean, to say that it is pay to win, I mean there is closer now pay to win in terms of catching up than there's ever been before. And I think that's one of the reasons you see some of these guys. Like I'll get applicants now that are like 500 days old and they have 32 cities. And I'm just like, holy fuck, how are you doing this? And I'm looking at their nation. They're not raiding. They don't really trade. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, this is out of control. How are you this big, this fast? Like, are you cheating? What is happening?
Yeah, like, it's right to City 26 minus projects. Right to City 26 just off of credits. That's insane. But yeah, I just brought it up because I thought it was a fun topic, and I know I've known people that buy regularly and they seem to get like instantaneous fixes when they message Alex. So just throwing that out there.
P package. You gotta donate that one. Get that VIP package.
Absolutely. That was how many credits is that?
I have no idea. I think it's one, right?
The VIP subscription, yeah, but if you want, there's the VIP party. Gives all nations in your alliance with 7 or more days of seniority 30 days of VIP status. 30 credits though, that's a lot. 30, not 25, 30. Huge. The really kind of the last topic here. Thank you to the 20 people that are still listening. Wow, we've really dropped, haven't we? 20 people that are still listening. An hour, 2 hours and a half into the show. This is probably just going to flop quickly because we don't have many people here. And as was already mentioned earlier, Alex isn't willing to change the game. But what are your guys' thoughts on fixing war or fixing the economy, or just pick something? There have been a number of them. We've seen a number of suggestions thrown out. So what are your guys' thoughts? SRD, I know you'll chime in probably. Well, what are the ideas here?
So I'm going to go back to what I said earlier about when I was grilling Pre about having a methodology. Throwing out solutions doesn't do anything unless you actually know what the problem is, to be perfectly honest with you.
So you want them to go do the research and see if
you got to put
can actually figure out what
the problem is before you be like, I want to do this. You'd be like, sure, you could do that, but it's not going to solve anything. It's like that whole spy thing. They're like, I want to put like 15 guys in reserve or whatever it is. I'm like, cool. That doesn't solve anything. It just means that you get wiped again in another 10 days or whenever it happens. I mean, that's all that's really going to happen there. It's not going to save you. It's just going to screw you again, assuming that the other side's on the ball. But then again, at the same time, you have to be on the ball.
I like what Kiwi said. If Alex doesn't want to fix the problem, or whoever it is, then other people are eating crow, carrying out bad orders. And it's not just that, but I honestly have to wonder if the dev or whoever's coming up with the dev team, I think it is, I would legitimately think they know their solutions and their ideas are just bad, because 9 times out of 10 they don't post them. They put them up in whatever channel they have, and Pre is the one that has to post them, which is why he gets a lot of the heat for all these. But there is a lot more to the team than just Prefontaine, and yet none of them are willing to actually claim responsibility for the ideas they propose. They want somebody else to take the blame for it. So,
well, that's what leadership.
That's
he's the leader of that group. It's his responsibility to take that leadership. And as a good leader too, I actually give him credit for this, is that he doesn't throw someone else under the bus for having a shitty ass idea that gets shot down. But I also hear stories about how sometimes in that room it's Pre's way or the highway, but I don't know how true or false that is.
Who knows? But I will never join that team just because I don't think I'd get along with anyone in there. So, oh, that's one thing we should have asked. He's not still listening, is he? Are we gonna get the new tutorial ever, or is that just gone? Has that vanished into the wind? We are. It's currently being proofread. Oh, good. Okay. That's a pleasant surprise. Maybe we'll actually get to keep people. 2023 December launch. That's right, Kiwi. You got it. Now, what about, rather than war, does anyone have any economic issues that they want to bring up here? Any just general issues before we move on to wrapping things up?
No, let's wrap this up, man. This is way past my bedtime. Let's do this.
All right. Well, I think that covers everything. So, final call for things we need to talk about philosophically. Final call for things we need to talk about in general.
Last call for alcohol, boys. Let's do this.
Final call for SRD's bedtime.
Looks like that's a no. I think we might be signing off, my friend. Our people are typing slowly.
Alrighty. It takes some time for some people. Well, lay tight. Thank you, SRD, for coming on. You only managed to get half of your hour of derailing with baseball, but it was a fun half hour regardless.
Lysander, thank you for having me on, sir. As always, I was a pleasure. And you,
absolutely. Sir. Thank you for coming on. Have a good night.
Take care.
Awesome. Zig, can you play the theme again just one time? Give everyone a good night snooze song to listen to. Thank you. And good night, my friends. Thank you for tuning in. It has been an absolute pleasure. I hope you enjoyed, and have a wonderful night. I will see you all in 2 weeks as more crap gets thrown. Adios.